Lovely.
You're listening to episode 51 of the Paropod.
Hi, everyone.
What's up? With your hosts, Mark and Owen.
What's up? What's up?
We're back again, past a half century this week.
Coming up on a year, though.
Coming up on a year. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Can't wait for next week. Big surprise in store. We got a lot of things planned. Not like the 50th episode where we had things planned, but there were no plans and then nothing happened. But actual plans.
And there's changes this episode as well. Introducing a new section.
Evolution, yeah. New sections. We're getting rid of old sections. We're starting everything new. New hosts coming in. It's basically the second season of the show.
We got actual guests planned.
Yeah, other humans.
Episode 52 and 54, we got guests coming, everyone.
54? I didn't even know about this. I'm hearing it. Like, this is breaking news.
Here we go.
As it happens.
That's
insane.
Hopefully the next week might sound shit. We don't know yet.
It'll be fine. We'll sort it out. We'll get the IT department on it. We'll get our intern. He'll be working all week, night shifts all the way through. Only the best for our listeners.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works out.
It'll be fine.
We'll find out. We'll see how it goes next week.
Yeah, we'll find out,
But yeah, how are you this week, Mark?
Vaxxed and relaxed.
Yeah, I got vaxxed on... When did I get vaxxed? I got vaxxed on Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday after last week. I got my first jab.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I got mine on the old Sunday. It was grand, I sort of gave in. I was trying to get the one in the pharmacies, but like
the one and done job.
They were stonewalling me to bits.
Man,
None of them called me back.
I am fairly certain that the pharmacies just aren't doing it anymore.
But every time I called up, it was like I was asking for heroin. It was like I was asking for fucking illegal drugs. They acted like
they're laughing at you.
They're laughing at me. They're laughing at, and they're like acting all shady and stuff, like trying to fake me out on like different. I got offered an appointment out in Sandyford at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
I was like, man,
this?
I was like, man, I physically cannot get to Sandyford. There's no possible way for me to get there without a taxi. And he was like, please never call again. You've been offered a vaccine. Many other people don't have access to vaccines. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We're in Ireland, bro.
Yeah, it's like 90% of people are already vaccinated. Like, but yeah, ridiculous stuff. I was only trying to do my part. But eventually got it there on the Sunday. It's all grand. The old Pfizer job. Didn't even notice to go in,
That's the crazy thing, man.
That's weird.
Yeah, I didn't, because like I expected to like feel it, at least the needle going in. Don't feel it at all.
Yeah, I don't like needles, and like I hadn't thought about it, like because I booked the thing on the Saturday afternoon, and like I went to the cinema, and by the end, like literally as the credits started to roll, I got the text saying, "Oh, you have an appointment tomorrow afternoon," like less than 24 hours away. So I had to go because I couldn't rearrange it.
Yeah.
I was out in Swords, which is a pain in the hole.
Yeah, the same place as me, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get to, like, and there's like there's no path up to it either.
Yeah, you have to walk through fields.
Yeah. Some guy come up to me, he's like offered like directions. It was like some guy who lived along the motorway or whatever's up there. He's like you shouldn't go that way. They might not let you in. You have to go around here, and there's a little hill, and there's like a divot. And so I was like, all right, it's proper like farmer in the middle of nowhere, like. But I hadn't been thinking about the fact that I don't like needles and stuff like that. I don't like getting bloods done or anything. I was in the line just before getting the thing, and I was like, I started getting nervous and stuff. And I sat down. I was talking to the nurse, and she was very nice. I was just chatting away, and then I put my arm out, and I looked away, and when I looked back, it was done. Didn't even notice anything.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I was like, did she jab me at all? I didn't even see a needle. I literally didn't see anything.
Because when she did it, when one did it for me, I was like, same as yourself. I was like, oh fuck. I was like, oh, I don't know. There's something about I just don't like needles. Don't like needles. Even though I want to get more tattoos, I don't like needles. And like when she stuck it into my arm, didn't notice it. It was only because like I looked away as she was doing it, and then I looked at her, and she was hunched over my arm, and I could see like it going in. I was like, wow, literally don't feel that at all.
Yeah, very weird. I couldn't even find the little spot. I had to go looking for it. And now it's gone.
But then next day, man, your arm is in fucking bits.
Yeah, I went home. I was gloating. I was like, I'm actually grand. Like no side effects, absolutely nothing at all. Woke up the next day, and I was like sleeping with my arm under the pillow, and I tried to like get up, and I was just like shooting pains all up and down my shoulder. It was so stiff. It was horrible. But it's grand now,
Grand now.
2 days later, and you're laughing.
I've been pretty sure the second jab as well. You don't have any you're not meant to have any side effects.
Is that not the worst one, no?
No, I'm pretty sure with Pfizer it's the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my dad was completely fine. My dad was the same thing. He felt sick after the first one, but after the second he was grand.
Oh, really?
So
yeah, my dad.
Fingers crossed.
My dad had a really bad reaction to one of them. he was like going blind and stuff like that, you know.
Jesus.
But yeah, one of them was completely fine for him. But you know, it's like what, 3 weeks? Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks I think.
Yeah, it better be. You know, because then you have to wait another week afterwards to get your cert, isn't it?
Is it that way?
Yeah. It doesn't activate for.
Oh, well.
But I didn't realize even with the Johnson & Johnson one, like one and done, you still have to wait 2 weeks to get your cert. Like.
Yeah, but I now think like, I mean, I'm done. Like, because at first I was like, oh, I have to wait a fucking month or whatever to get my second jab. I mean, a week has gone by now, and I forgot. Like, oh yeah, I've already got my first jab, and then 3 weeks I'm fully vaxxed and I'll have me fucking cert hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be laughing in the pub, you know.
Ah, man,
having a few paintings,
licking the table and everything like.
Yeah, licking doorknobs again. Back at it.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe they'll pretty lock it down again at some point.
Man, I feel like that they can't afford, not even in terms of like in terms of the economy, in terms of
Public
outcry.
Yeah,
they are not
public
gonna.
sentiment.
I think we're done with the lockdowns.
Yeah, I don't know, but like the numbers are pretty crazy. Like.
Yeah, but the hospital numbers are like down.
Yeah, true.
So,
but they're still going up slowly.
Slowly, yeah.
Yeah, more people I know are getting as well. Like.
Oh man, I know loads of people have it now.
Yeah. So weird.
3 people I knew in the line.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I was seeing loads of people that I knew in the vaccine center. A few lads from the course were doing the the check-in thing.
Mm-hmm.
A few lads from DCU.
Yeah,
I don't know their names.
Yeah.
But like they're just there. I just looked over and I was like, I know you, and he was like, he looked at me, but I don't know his name. But
Man, when we had COVID, I knew the fellow that was he was in our course. The fellow that was fucking giving me the COVID test, he was in our course.
Oh really?
Yeah, I guess.
That's gas. Yeah, they just hire pretty much like random people.
Anyone, yeah. They're just like all hands on deck.
Yeah, that's the way you want it, you know.
Exactly.
On call for Ireland and all that stuff.
Let's do it, boys. Let's get this fucking pandemic over.
Yeah. Oh jeez, it's been a while now.
I know.
Been a while.
What you doing the weekend?
On the weekend, I went to cinema.
It's
been a while since I went to cinema. I think it was last time I went was, I don't even know, St. Maud maybe. Ages ago.
Jesus, yeah.
Quite a while ago. Last time that was out before we got coronavirus. Yeah. Before like the second wave.
Yeah.
Which is, ages ago now.
Yeah, full on year.
Yeah, literally a year now. I went to go see The Suicide Squad. Because we were debating, me and Orla were just in town, and we were just like, we go to cinema. Because there's like nothing to do really.
There isn't anything to do, which is a pain in the fucking hole.
Yeah, it's like you can either drink outside, and like it's raining usually now, so like it's a bit shit. And like that's basically it. I wanted to go to the museum, but like you have to book that as well.
Yeah,
you have to book everything. So just wandering around.
No spontaneity at the minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
spontaneity.
Spontaneity. Yeah, there's no none of that. But we was just we'll go to the cinema or whatever. And I was just looking at the board over the Savoy. It was just bleak scenes. Like it was just scraps.
Films from like last year and stuff like that. Like still.
Yeah, rubbish stuff. It came down to The Suicide Squad and Old. And I was kind of rooting for Old. I was like, I've heard some interesting things about this film from many people, but like obviously I know it's shit. But we decided on The Suicide Squad, and it was really good.
Yeah,
like it's like a sequel, but also kind of a remake, kind of a reboot.
Because I watched the first Suicide Squad on the weekend.
Yeah, totally uncoordinated, but that happened. Yeah.
So we can like compare and contrast, but like Jesus, man, that first Suicide Squad film is fucking dog shit. Literally, I'm not even joking to say one of the worst films I've ever fucking seen.
Jeez.
The first 30 minutes are like exposition and mess with like songs being played every like 2-3 minutes. At one stage, like fucking it's like fucking The Real Slim Shady or something. Some fucking Eminem song plays as they're like putting on their gear, and it doesn't match the scene at all. And like all the fucking like the male gaze on Harley Quinn is disgusting.
Harley Quinn, yeah.
Just a mess of a film on every fucking aspect. Like genuinely an embarrassing fucking film. And then once you get past those 30 minutes, it's the most generic, bland superhero film, quotation marks, because they're all bad guys, and they keep saying that. They're like, we're the bad guys. They keep like looking at the camera and saying that basically.
Yeah.
They introduce one character at one stage, and then the next scene he's killed, and he's meant to be one of the Suicide Squad. And of course, the classic Will Smith line, "What are we? Some sort of Suicide Squad?"
That's the thing from the movie. That's the title.
Awful film. Awful movie.
Because I remember it's a real shame, because I remember when the trailer for that came out.
The trailer's phenomenal.
Back in the day, I think it was the Comic-Con trailer, something like that. It came out.
The one with Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, the one before that.
Oh right.
It was like kind of like, it was like the darker, kind of moodier, kind of thing. I had a Bee Gees song playing, but you know the way they had that thing for a while where it was like they did like really sad covers of happy songs.
Yeah.
It was like a cover of one of them. It was really good. It was like a really like sort of short, evocative trailer. It seemed really dark, but like in an interesting kind of way, you know, kind of edgy kind of way. But then it changed. The Bohemian Rhapsody trailer came out, and that looked good as well. But like it looked like a totally different film.
Yeah.
It was like literally the exact opposite of what the previous trailer had been, because it seemed like they're going for more of like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing.
With that one, they were. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They re-edited the film and changed it when Guardians of the Galaxy came out to try and make it more fun.
Yeah, which is like, but the film wasn't. It was already its own film.
Yeah,
and they tried to change. I think something like that happened.
Even in terms of like, because the original Suicide Squad is like Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was sitting and watching with Isabel, and like, you know, Jared Leto shows up, and he's just there. Like, there's no like mystique or anything to it. He's just there. And I was sitting there, and like, I hit pause, and I was like, wait a second, this is the first time that in terms of this DC universe that you see the Joker.
Yeah, that was his intro. Yeah,
and it was like, and I was like, that is fucking dog shit. Like it was like it's
like a flashback, isn't it?
It's like a flashback to him and Harley Quinn, but like I don't know. I feel like, because you know, like you know, it's not to compare it to, you know, Dark Knight, which is not very fair thing to do, but when, you know, when Joker reveals himself at the start of that movie, it's a reveal. It's a reveal. Like, you know, it's like, oh shit, this is the Joker. But in this one, it's like, it just cuts and he's there talking to someone.
Yeah, I'm the Joker.
And he's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's fucking awful. Oh, his lines, his dialogue. Jared Leto was shit in that movie.
Yeah. Whoever like sanctioned that, like any of that, you know? Because I remember even, like, there's obviously people hated that one, even when the promotional images came out. Like, remember that?
Yeah, the ha.
Yeah, damaged. Like, that was just, even then, like, that, even in the mid-2000s, that wouldn't have passed.
No.
People would have been like, that's cringy.
Yeah, it's
But, like,
man,
they did this in the middle of the 2010s, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, Jared Leto, that guy's already a dodgy cunt. He's like some kind of cult leader and stuff.
And that's the fucking film where he's fucking about, like, fucking giving dead birds to people, whatever the fuck he's doing. Even in terms of, like, the film's structure, like, what the film is about, like, the Suicide Squad is meant to be a ragtag bunch of nobodies who are meant to go, like, undercover and take out, like, smaller, you know, kind of enemies and stuff like that. But in this film, in the OG film, they're being formed to take on, like, you know, they're like, the main premise is, what if Superman turns bad and we need someone to fight Superman? And so their solution is to get a guy with a boomerang, a guy that can shoot bullets really well, a girl with a baseball bat, fucking
a
crocodile who isn't even that big, like
yeah. He's just kind of he's like Joe Rogan, but in crocodile
he's
form.
just pretty hench, and he can eat people. Who else is in it? Fucking, and then El Diablo, who's like the only person who actually has superpowers in the film, and that's it. So there's like 5 people who are completely fucking useless against anyone that has any superpowers, and then one superhero or one supervillain. And then in terms of the film, then the person that they're taking on is literally like trying to destroy the world. And in the start of the film, where it's like introducing all the you know, the characters that are going to be in the Suicide Squad, Captain Boomerang gets captured by like the Flash. Like, it shows the Flash and it shows Batman. It reminds you that superheroes exist in this world. So when it gets to the world-ending event, like literally the world-ending event at the end of the film, you're sitting there and you're just like, what are the other superheroes doing?
Yeah.
Why are they? And especially, like, it tells you at one stage that, like, the, like, witch, what the fuck is her name? What the fucking character's name was?
The Enchantress.
Enchantress, that's it.
Yeah.
That she's been doing this, she's been preparing this for 3 days. So you're like, where the fuck is, like, Justice League or whatever? Like,
yeah, where's the lads at?
Like,
where's the people with superpowers?
And then at the end of the film, it tells you that Aquaman exists because, like, it has, like,
is he in it as well?
He's not in it. He's, like, shown at the end of the film where, like, Batman is, like, meeting Viola Davis's character, and he's like, oh, give me the forms on, like, the other metahumans that you have,
Mm.
and it shows like the Flash and Aquaman, and he's just like, oh, and then Batman's like, I'm gonna form my own team, and we'll deal with whatever you need. So it's like, oh, that's gonna be Justice League.
Yeah,
But it's like there are superheroes in this world. Why are they not taking on the world-ending event?
They just don't
Why
care.
are you using a girl with a baseball bat, a guy with a boomerang?
A guy with a gun. Yeah, it's so bizarre. Because I remember in that original trailer, like the dark one from Comic-Con, they had a glimpse of like, I think it was Harley Quinn and the Joker in like, I don't know, it was like the Batmobile or like the Joker's version of the Batmobile, and Batman was on top of the car. But like they only show it in like a flash.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Batman is in this film, or the suggestion was Batman is in this film, but he's kind of an incidental character. But he is in this film, and it was suggestive of like I don't know, like an expansive world where things are going on, and like things are kind of intersecting different stories and like different interests. But then, like apparently that's just a flashback scene.
That's a flashback, and similar with Joker. Joker's like this weird incidental character.
Yeah.
Who pops up here and there, and he feels really disconnected to everything. It's a really bad movie.
Yeah.
But the new one's meant to be good, isn't it?
The new one is really good, yeah.
Amazing how they did that.
See, they tried to turn the original 2016 film into a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of ripoff, I suppose, and like a setup film for the Justice League. And that didn't go well. So they decided to just get the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy to remake the Suicide Squad. And they put it there in front of the film, so it's like a different kind of thing. And it's like, I haven't seen the original, but it's like a really good film. It's like it's very
is it fun?
Really fun.
That's
It's really funny. Like it's extremely funny for a superhero. It's like on the level of Thor 3, like.
That's what you want.
That's
just
nice and funny.
hear.
Like James Gunn, like he's funny. Like he's
Guardians of the Galaxy is probably one of the best MCU films as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like just really fun to watch. It's really gory as well. This one, very very gory.
Great. Birds of Prey was like that as well. I watched a little bit of Birds of Prey, and that was super gory.
Yeah. Because it's like really. Is the original gory at all?
No.
Or like graphic? No. Yeah, because in this one, it's like it starts out with like these. Because I'd seen like the promotional materials. It has like John Cena and stuff in the film. And like he's amazing in this, by the way.
John Cena's great.
He's so versatile.
Yeah,
he's an amazing actor as well. He's very very good in this. He's one of the main characters, but he's not in the first like 20 minutes. So I was wondering where he was, because it's like it's the Suicide Squad, but it's your man Rick Flag from the original.
Oh yeah.
But his hair's a bit longer. And they have like all these random kind of like dud super villains, and there's like Pete Davidson, the guy from SNL.
Is he in this? Oh yeah, he is in it. Yeah.
I was like, is he in this?
Yeah.
But he was, and I was like, what's his role in this? His face gets blown off in 10 minutes in. Like his face like just gets blown off, and it shows you. And it's really cool. It's just out of nowhere. I was like, what the fuck? It's really surprising. And they have this like weasel character who's like their version of Rocky Raccoon, or what's your man's name?
Rocket Raccoon.
Rocket Raccoon. But like he's just like he's like this spa weasel basically. He just doesn't speak.
He's a weasel.
He's like a complete like he dies straight away. Like they land in the ocean. They're trying to invade this island, and they land in the water, and the weasel just immediately drowns because he can't swim. It's just like full of like just stupid jokes like that.
It's like Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. The start of it, they just kill off the mom.
That's what happens. Yeah. Like everyone dies from the original squad that you're first introduced, except for Rick Flag and Harley Quinn, because they're trying to invade this island called Corto Malta or something like that in South America. Because that's the interesting thing about this film, because it has a very weird kind of commentary on
CIA and stuff like that,
on imperialism in South America, which is very very strange. Because the whole thing is they have Viola Davis's character, they're trying to invade this island in South America to secure like a prison that the Nazis built after like exiled Nazis built after World War II, and there's something weird inside this prison. And recently on this island, this like island nation in South America, there's been a military coup where the old pro-American royal family has been deposed and executed and replaced by like a military junta kind of thing. And the whole setup is, these people are anti-American, these people are our opponents, we have to go in there. And it's not about couing them or like taking down their government. Like that will happen organically, that's the suggestion anyway. It's about securing this like kind of black site which stores some kind of alien technology, like this Nazi alien technology.
It's like starfish or something, isn't it?
It's a huge starfish.
That's
Yeah.
gas.
It's an alien starfish. What's his name? Peter Capaldi, the Doctor Who fella.
Oh yeah.
He's like the villain,
Gas.
like the sort of side villain. I think he's called the Thinker. But Viola Davis is the other villain. Like she's the bad guy in this film.
Like in the first one, she's just a cunt. Like she's just a bitch.
Yeah.
But like they keep hyping her up as like, oh, she's such a badass. Don't get in her way. And you never really get a sense as to why, because she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
You're just told she's evil or she's bad, but you never see her actually doing anything.
Yeah, she's a girl boss. Like.
Yeah.
But like in this, she's a girl boss, but she's like, you know, in the pay of the CIA.
Yeah.
Like trying to overthrow a government in South America, and you're like anyone watching that is like, oh, I don't know about this. You know, maybe in like even now more so now than before, maybe. But like she's the bad guy, and you get like it sort of leans on the whole sort of setup being completely immoral in the first place. Like the fact that they have like prisoners like from the American prison system, and they stick like a bomb inside their head, and they send them off to go do these suicide missions in the service of American imperialism, pretty much, which is obviously a horrifying idea. You know, it's basically Guantanamo prisoners getting sent off into fucking Syria or something. Like, oh, go fucking take this base. Yeah, because that's the basic setup to it. And like the whole idea, like they're villains, but they're good. They can redeem themselves by being villainous in a different kind of way, stuff like that.
Yeah, like the right kind of villainous. For America.
Yeah, and like we've always been, at least in the superhero genre up till now, or like even in general, even at the end of this film, doesn't really live up to it. Like you're just supposed to sort of sidestep or like look away from the fact that the things that are happening in like a broader kind of sense are also pretty like vague and pretty like villainous in a way. Yeah. Like the whole thing about like was it S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that, like the Marvel S.H.I.E.L.D. is basically just the CIA, and it's was never really touched on, or like they never really grapple with that kind of thing. But yeah, then they introduced the Idris Elba's character, who was basically a stand-in for like Will Smith's.
He's basically Deadshot.
He's just Deadshot. I think his name is Bloodsport, and he's really good with guns and stuff like that. He's like
basically Deadshot.
He's just a gangster.
I wonder why they didn't get Will Smith to do it again.
I don't know, because it is set in the same universe and all. Like,
yeah. I don't know why they didn't do that. It's also an interesting thing that you say that characters actually die in the Suicide Squad in this one, because honestly, one character like Diablo dies because he sacrifices himself to take out, because like Enchantress has a brother and he sacrifices himself to take out that. He's the only one from the Suicide Squad who actually dies. All the fucking incidental soldiers that are with them ends up dying, but no one of actual importance dies.
Yeah. They're probably like assuming they'd have like shoot-off films and stuff like that.
I don't know what the fuck they thought they were going to do with that film.
Yeah, but like lots of people die in this. You know, like even like what's his name? Yeah, Bloodsport has that whole thing. Like I got from the trailer that Deadshot has a thing with like his daughter and stuff. Or like
he does. It's like, awful, man. It's so bad.
It's literally copied and pasted into this film.
Oh,
with
Jesus.
the same thing with Bloodsport. Like they're just not like they're not ashamed about it. They just like it just seems like a complete carbon copy.
This is a remake or a reboot of.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's like a X-Men Days of Future Past kind of thing, where it's like a retcon pretty much.
Yeah.
But they like the original squad gets wiped out straight away on the beaches, but they have this like sort of auxiliary squad which has gone in as well, and it has Idris Elba, was it John Cena, and a few other lads, loads of other.
Is the shark with them?
Yeah, the shark. Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
he looks so much fun, man. He just looks like a good Groot character.
Yeah, he's the Groot character, but like he doesn't really say. He's just like an idiot. Like it's not like he just says one thing. Like he's just really dumb. And he's a shark. And he just eats things and stuff. He's a very basic kind of character. Yeah. But he's great. Like he's great, like comic relief or whatever. And they have some other characters as well. But they go in and like they're kind of doing it more like sort of like, and they have to go. First they have to go rescue Rick Flag, who's been captured by the enemy, and they go into this base. And it's full of like guerrillas, like these like sort of soldiers and stuff like that. And it's like a compilation of like John Cena and Idris Elba like taking out, like obliterating everyone in sight. Like they kill dozens of people. And it's all shown in like full gore, like throughout the entire thing. And then eventually they get into this tent, and it's Rick Flag sitting across from this woman, and he's like completely relaxed, like he's not captured at all. And he's like, here, what are you doing here? And they're like, what are you doing here? It turns out that like all the people that they just killed were like part of the rebels that the Americans were backing. It's like a really like kind of funny setup, and she's like, "Where's my family?" And it's like, we didn't see anyone on the way in here, you know. So it's like it's very very good, you know. But yeah, they have to capture this whole prison kind of thing, and the whole idea is that like it's fallen into the hands of this authoritarian like military rogue state, and it's like an alien. It's an alien intelligence that the Americans found out in space. That's like it's like a starship, or it's a starfish that like shits out other starfish, which are like face huggers, and they like latch onto your face, and it's like you know the SpongeBob movie sort of setup where Plankton has the buckets on people's heads.
Yeah.
It's like that where like
the controls, man.
Yeah, it's like anyone who gets like attacked by the facehuggers becomes like a conduit of this massive alien starfish, and it's like it's really fucked up. And they have all like within the prison itself, they have all these like slaves, like these like opponents of both the former government, like the American pro-American government, and like this new sort of military one that's like cracking down on opposition and stuff like that. And it's like portrayed as like this horrible kind of like crime against humanity. It's like we need democracy in this country and all. It's like really like basic talking points. And for ages, it's really annoying me because they do have this like really like cynical view of American power in that kind of region.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have this like kind of rebel force that
it's like, oh, these are also bad, maybe even worse than the Americans.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's like, oh, like the royals that we were backing before, they were terrible, but this military government, they're way worse. But we have these rebels who like don't really believe in anything, but like they're the people who need to be in power. But it's portrayed as this horrible war crime within the kind of Black Ops side. But then the whole thing is Peter Capaldi's character goes on this like he has this big fucking villainous spiel where he goes on a rant about how it's like an American owned site.
Yep.
Like it's pretty much just an American military base which they're trying to recapture, and like all the war crimes, all the human experimentation, and all of the Nazis were doing like extending like Mengelé's work post war apparently in this military base, and he was saying that this is all funded and like aided and abetted by the Americans and by Washington DC, and so there's a big conflict within the Suicide Squad, which I thought was really cool, and it's a really fun film, and it's loads of gore, and it's just like very funny. Yeah. Very funny stuff.
I'm definitely going to go see this in the cinema.
You should definitely see it.
Yeah, no, I definitely am. I think me and Liz might see it on the weekend. It seems like a fucking blast. Because I've just heard everyone raving about it. Anyone that's seen it is like, yeah, this is a really good film. Especially like in contrast to the first one.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
Like what you're saying like about like the complexity of this, like what it's doing about politics and stuff like that. The first one is literally beam in the sky. We got to take out the beam in the sky.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Like a lot of those films are all very, very similar, you know. But this has it's a different kind of. It's more nuanced anyway. Like it does fall into a lot of traps, and there's like twists and turns at the end, which are like welcome surprises. You know, because you never usually get that. It's usually
you don't expect it.
It's very, very telegraphed in all those films. But this one has like it's kind of like it keeps you guessing all the way through, and I had a lot of fun watching it. And it's only 2 hours long, you know.
Yeah. Definitely.
You can't lose.
Exactly.
You can't lose.
Can't lose the Suicide Squad.
You can't lose.
DC are after taking a turn.
Have they?
Like, even in terms of, like, Birds of Prey. Like, Birds of Prey is meant to be, like, very good as well. I've heard a lot of people saying Birds of Prey is very good. And, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League was also apparently very good. Or pretty good. Better than you'd expect anyways, what most people were saying. Like, way better than you think it's going to be. Which is weird because they stumbled the ball so much at the start, even in terms of like Aquaman and stuff like that, which you talked about, you know, a while back. Like that film's kind of shit, but these are genuinely good films that are achieving what they're trying to do.
Yeah, just coming back from like the pits, you know.
Yeah,
they literally couldn't have done a worse job.
I wonder if like the
first part of it. Like,
I wonder if that's part of it. Is like this is an amazing film because compared to the other films, this film is amazing.
yeah, like the Suicide Squad. I hadn't even watched the original one. But I knew it was terrible. And this one, it's like...
It's on Netflix as well.
Is it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one's just like straight out the gate, you're like, just sign me up. I'm invested in this, you know? Because it's like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
All the way through. Loads of jokes. Loads of great bits.
That's what you want.
Recommended. Absolutely recommended, you know? Great return to the cinema.
Yeah, what else? Oh, Wonder Woman as well. The most recent Wonder Woman is pretty divisive, though.
Well, the
new one,
1984.
I'm pretty sure that's meant to be shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Like,
I'm not gonna
I hadn't seen much about it.
Interesting. DC taking a turn. Fair play to them.
DC back on the buzz.
Back on the buzz. Fair fucking play to them. They're doing it well. Dude, they're doing it well.
Aye.
Just like how the French make good movies.
Those perverts.
Those dirty bastards. The French coming out with Raw from 2018, 2017. Can't remember. Around that time.
One of them.
Yeah, I watched Raw on the weekend. This movie fucked me up. This movie is amazing. Honestly, this film's fantastic.
What is it?
Basic premise. Minor spoilers for Raw. I think it's better off if you just go in, not knowing anything. But it's about a 16-year-old, like, kind of wonder child, I guess. Like, she's a genius, basically. She's got into college, early, because of who her family are, and her sister is also, like, really smart. And she gets into veterinary college at the age of 16, and she's a vegetarian, and her whole family are vegetarians. But part of the hazing process is that they have to eat raw rabbit liver or something, or maybe it's a kidney. I can't remember.
The hazing process in vet college.
Yeah, fuck, man.
What the fuck?
Oh man, the shit that they do is fucking mental in this.
Those vets.
They're crazy fuckers.
Yeah.
But when she eats the
liver.
The liver, yeah. Next night, she has this fucked up rash all over her body, and she's scratching herself. And I was cringing when she like the sound effects of it. And it's all flaky, and it's just like you're just like, please stop scratching yourself. This is I don't know, whatever it is about like the sound that they use. It gets to you.
It's like a body horror kind of thing.
It is like a body horror type of thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's body horror basically, and it's like just disgusting. But then she starts eating like raw chicken and stuff like that. You're like, what are you doing? And then she slowly but surely realizes she has a desire to eat human flesh. And the movie goes places with this, down some really fucked up places. But like the whole thing in the film is that like the cannibalism and the way awakening to your inner urges as a cannibal is like directly tied to she's 16, she's like discovering herself, she's discovering her sexuality, and it's all to do with that. She's when she first arrives into the college, and there's like all these noises because like all the seniors are coming in to like pull all the rookies out of their bed to bring them off to do the first part of their hazing process. A guy comes into her room and she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm your roommate. And she's like, I requested a girl. And he's like, well, you got a gay guy, so here you go. But like they start to develop a relationship, and just like all these different things, and like just there's a bit where like she's staring at her roommate as he's playing football, and he's his shirt off. Dude, he's a handsome man, very handsome man, and she's there looking at him, and she's like biting her lip and stuff like that. But like it's like, is it that she wants to fuck him, or is it that she wants to eat him?
Yeah.
And she has a very strange relationship with her sister, and there's some reveals with her sister as well, and it just goes down these weird fucking places. But the horror in this film, like squirmy shit, like just watching her eat things is fucking disgusting. There's a bit right where it shows her like eating her hair, and then afterwards it cuts and she's throwing up her hair, like fucking loads of hair, and I was gagging while watching
That's a thing though, isn't it? Pika.
Yeah.
People do that.
Oh man, it was like fucking...
It's like a cat hairball, like...
Oh man, like strings of hair coming out of her mouth. It's like... You're watching it as well, and you're fucking gagging like she is. It's horrendous. It's like some of the best body horror I've seen in ages.
Yeah, that's kind of cool that like it evokes like a guttural response in a viewer,
Yeah,
especially like you've seen like
I've seen some fucked up shit.
Like if it's provoking that response, that's pretty cool. Is this on Shudder?
Yeah, it's on Shudder. It's on American Shudder. I had to use my VPN for it,
but
well worth the watch. And it's short as well, 90 minutes.
Oh right, yeah.
Let me tell you, you'll be thinking about it afterwards.
Yeah,
especially like there's a reveal at the end, and I lost my shit. Lost it.
Yeah.
It's almost like black comedy. The end of the film, And it's like it's a gory film. It's more of like a fucking. It's not even like it's a horror film, but it's like it's more like a really fucked up coming of age story.
Yeah.
Because I watched Shiva Baby a while ago, and never talked about it on the podcast, but that's like a similar thing where it's like, well, Raw is way more explicitly horror because it's about a cannibal and people die and people get eaten.
Is that a horror?
Shiva Baby is basically a horror film, man.
Is it? Wait, what is that again? I've heard
it's
that.
About it's about this girl and she's going to. Is it a funeral or something? I can't remember what it is. I think she's going to a funeral, and like, there's just tensions because like she at the start of Shiva Baby, and we see her having sex with this dude, and then when she comes to the family event, he's also there, and it's like, oh shit, she's after fucking a relative, but she didn't. She's actually fucked her some relation to her husband, and there's this tension over that, but there's also like family pressures of what she's gonna do with her life, and she's like distracted, and then it gets worse because it's revealed, oh no, he has a kid as well, and it's like this mounting tension that's going on, and it's like trying to. Shiva Baby's fantastic. It has like sound effects that are like straight out of Hereditary though. Like some of the music is like very.
It's like a domestic kind of horror.
Oh yeah, domestic family horror. It's Shiva Baby's fantastic.
That sounds cool.
It's less than 80 minutes. I think it's 77 minutes.
Is it? That's recent, isn't it?
It's on Mubi as well.
Yeah, that's what I must have seen. Yeah. I have to watch that.
Shiva Baby's fantastic as well. Really, really good film. And Raw's more explicitly a horror film, but like the horror in it is like body horror, but also like she's being pressured to do things to like conform with the hazing process and to try and fit in and all this other stuff. Great movie. Raw is fantastic. I highly recommend Raw. Highly recommend.
That sounds really cool, yeah. More body horror. We need that, you know?
Body horror. I love body horror.
Yeah, fucks you up.
Not like more like Possessor. Oh no, it's that the Brandon Cronenberg one. That has some body horror, but that's like a dude's fucking mouth getting ripped apart basically. I prefer body horror where it's like her puking up fucking hair was one of the most fucking visceral reactions to anything I've ever fucking had in my life.
Yeah.
Pure gagging when I was watching it.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I don't hear that very often. You know, you having like a crazy like that kind of reaction. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't happen to me much, but when it does, it hits.
Yeah, I can even hack that stuff. You know.
And you'd enjoy Raw. Like it's not because
it's not like gore.
It's not gore.
It's like a kind of different thing.
Yeah, it's a simple. It's someone throwing up hair, and you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, it's so simple, but it's still horrifying.
It's just the idea of it as well. And it's like, and she keeps like pulling out more from like you get like because I don't know. Have you ever like choked on like spaghetti or something, and you pull out like a long string of spaghetti from your mouth?
Yeah,
it's like that, but like
slimy.
Clumps of slimy hair.
Yeah, that's not right.
Nah, man, it's
that ain't right.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
What you been watching as well? Did you watch something else?
I watched The Woman in Black. Ever watched that?
Daniel Radcliffe one.
Yes,
I have watched this years ago.
Man, yeah, I watched this years ago. I used to scare the shit out of me. I shat my pants in cinemas watching
it. It is the best jump scare horror film.
Yeah, it's like it's amazing. When I watched it in cinemas, I think it's 2012. I think.
Yeah, I think it's 2011, 2012.
2012. Yeah, when I watched it in cinemas, like proper jump. I jumped like 3 or 4 times.
Yes, I watched this at home. And I was like, this is fucking scary. Like,
yeah. I watched it on like Friday or something, and it's just like I just felt like watching it because I hadn't seen it in so long. I remember I read the book back in the day as well. I think I read the book after I watched the film, and it's just classic gothic horror, like pure genre, genre fare, like just like ripping like fucking conventions out of like 19th century horror fiction. I think the book itself was written like the 1990s. It's kind of different to the film as well, from what I remember. The book is very good though. Its book is also very creepy. I used to love
literature. Something I haven't really read into. Like
yeah. That's the thing.
I need to read more of that type of stuff
because it's hard to get scared. Reading a book.
Yeah,
but it's also hard. It's like when was the last time you were properly scared by a film?
Yeah, properly scared. Yeah, rare. A rare occurrence.
Like, is that a thing that we're never gonna see?
I don't know. It's just like certain
is
things.
Is that like a childhood thing?
I don't know. When I watched Hereditary for the first time,
that was scary. Yeah, that's
scary.
True. That's 2018. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I watched Woman in Black, I was like, it was the same time as like Conjuring stuff. I used to put them in like the same kind of box, like kind of gothic, like vintage kind of horror, like both deliberately callback to old forms. Like The Woman in Black was produced by the revival of the Hammer production company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the lads who did
like Dracula, the old horror films.
Yeah, Hammer horror.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They like rebooted themselves, like, and the first film they made was this with The Woman in Black, which is like sort of, you know,
great comeback, to be fair.
Great comeback, you know. It sort of explains why I liked it so much. Because it's just basically a remake of those kinds of films, but like with modern actors and like modern techniques and stuff like that. Has Kieran Hines in it as well, the Irish actor.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you know him to see.
Yeah.
He's in like Game of Thrones, stuff like that. He's very, very good. It's like basically the story, like your man Daniel Radcliffe's character, and he's like a lawyer, and he's like collecting papers relating to the death of one of his firm's clients, but also his wife is dead, and like he's like mourning that, and he has a kid and stuff. And he's going out into the middle of nowhere, like the arse end of nowhere, in like the countryside in England. And it's like the moors and stuff, and it's like a bog.
Yeah, he has to go out to a house, but like once like the tide comes in and you can't like leave the house or something.
Yeah, it's like a tombola or tombola or whatever.
Yeah,
one of those geographic terms.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah,
but like you can go out at low tide. You can go, there's like a path out, but there's no way back. There's no way back after.
Why would anyone live in a house like that?
Like that's clearly haunted. Yeah. Don't go there. Like it's the most obviously haunted house you'll ever see.
Especially when he walks up to her, you're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Oh, it's so creepy. But like at same, it's like so stupid. Like obviously you wouldn't. Like if that happened in real life, you'd be like, no way, I'm not going up there, man. But like it's so creepy, and it's that 19th century, even like the 19th century books, or like horror fiction stuff like that. Like stuff like, what was it, Castle of Otranto or whatever. What was that? Remember that?
Yeah.
Like there's different short stories.
I can't remember what the fuck it was called. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Castle, something like that. Different short stories, but they would evoke all that kind of thing. It's like a romantic kind of gothic vision.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's like what are you doing, man? Like it's clearly haunted. Well, like this whole idea that like places are like carrying the memories of things that happened before, they're like personifying
sites of trauma.
Yeah, sites of trauma. Yeah, personifying places and stuff like that. And like these these recordings of trauma replaying themselves like in the present. And it's like that's basically what happens essentially, because he goes to the gaff. And weird things obviously start happening.
There's dolls in the house as well.
Oh man. I completely forgot about the dolls.
You're just reminding me there. That was fucking let alone walking into a gaff that like once you're in there you can't fucking leave because of the tide. But you walk in and there's these dolls.
I'd be like, nah.
I was like, I'm fucking sleeping outside.
I'm swimming back to shore. I'd rather drown than stay in this gaff. The dolls.
They're horrible.
Because I completely forgotten about them. And you know, there's like a Joker one, like a clown kind of thing, and like they're all going like he'll be alone in the gaff, like doing his papers, and he closes his eyes for some reason. It's like, man, don't close your eyes. It's like it's pitch black in there, and there's no one else in the gaff. It's a haunted gaff, and then suddenly all these like it's like monkeys with like symbols and stuff like.
Oh, fucking forgot about those.
Yeah,
things.
Hear no evil, see no evil, all that stuff, and they start going off, and it's just like, what the fuck was that, you know? But like it's so subtle. Like there's only 3 or 4 times that you actually see like the ghost.
I remember distinctly one part in the film where like it's a shot of Danny Radcliffe, and he's like taking up like, you know, like 3/4, like 2/3 of the screen or whatever, and just behind him you can see something.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, there's like a science to it where like they know exactly when your eye is drawn to it, and then it just turns around and you realize, oh shit, it's the fucking woman in black behind him.
It's the fucking woman, man. Or I think it's the same scene where he's, or like maybe it's like the later one, but like he's looking out the window and it's like looking out on the marsh, but it's just,
oh my God,
it's just in front of the house, so there's like trees and like sort of brambles and stuff like that. So like it's just kind of like, it's all sort of blends into one, but like you're looking around and it sort of lingers for like 4 seconds, And
just
then,
long enough to.
just long enough for you to catch on the fact that there's a woman standing there, like sort of very small, just sort of staring at him, and you're like, oh my god,
This film is,
you know?
like, the best moment for me in Hereditary was the moment where, like, it's the shot of him getting out of the bed, and it just lingers for ages, and you're like, what am I meant to be looking at? And then you look at the top left-hand corner, and fucking
Yeah.
what the fuck is her name? Tony Collette is there in the corner, and you're just like,
Yeah.
this film is, like, filled with moments like that where, like, the jump scares, I wouldn't even call them jump scares, because, like, your eye is drawn to where the jump scare is gonna happen just as it's about to happen.
Yeah.
It's really, like, there's like a science to how the film does it.
Yeah, like, yeah, I wouldn't even call it a jump scare, because the first, like, I remember the first big scare that had everyone jumping in the cinema was he's in the gaff and he's looking around. It's his first time there, and he's up in like he's up in the bedroom. I think it's just before the scene where you see her behind him. It's like a minute or two before that, and he's just up there and he's looking around, and like fucking he's at the fireplace and something falls down. It's just like a bird that finds its way into the chimney. That's the jump scare. Like, there's nothing. It's like, it's just out of nowhere. And it's nothing to do with the story, really. It's just like, oh, woohoo!
It's like a red herring. Kind of
yeah,
thing.
red herring. It's like unseating you from like your comfort zone, and then like everything else is kind of like it has so many of those kinds of moments where it's like you expect something to happen and then it doesn't, and then like eventually it's like out of nowhere, like the woman will be there and you'll be like, oh, what the fuck is that? You know?
Yeah.
And just like, it's just very, very good horror. It's exactly what you want. Like there's nothing exciting or like new about it, really. It's just extremely well done. It's like The Conjuring, just very, very well done. You know, and the whole like trauma, like sort of replaying itself. Quite a sad film. It
is a very sad film.
Yeah, because the whole thing, she's broken up about the fact that her son drowned in the marshes, and they have to go recover his body to sort of appease her ghost. But is it enough to appease her ghost? That's the whole thing. That's only 80 minutes long as well. It's so short.
Is it?
Yeah, it's so short. I actually thought it would.
Man, I'm watching this Halloween.
It's very good. It's because I thought it was going to go on longer, but it's like, you know, the way a film will linger like a bit too long.
Yeah.
Like like sort of a side note, I watched Eurovision. You know, that's the one with Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Completely like tangential, like
opposite ends of like the film spectrum.
I think we watched them back to back. But Eurovision, like, whatever, it's not great. You know, it's pretty shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like, it goes on for like an hour and a half, and you're like, this is the end. But it goes like, there's a whole another like act. For some reason, it's like an act 4.
Man,
you know,
it
just does that for no reason.
I watched fucking Talented Mr. Ripley this weekend.
Oh right, yeah.
Very good film. Very, very good film. I enjoyed it a lot. But at one point, like, the film, like, kept going. Like, we had pause one stage when a major event happened, and I was like, what the fuck? There's an hour left in this film.
Yeah.
And then we hit pause another time. I was like, how the fuck is there half an hour left in this film?
Yeah.
Like, it happened twice in the film. I was like, this is going on for ages. And, like, so much happens in Talented Mr. Ripley, where, like, I was like, surely this is the end. But then it's just even longer to go, and like I was a bit bored at a certain stages.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you could have like Eurovision, not a great example because it wasn't very good to begin with, but like it could have been completely acceptable and like, you know, watchable at least. About, you know, 90 minutes. Like, cut it off in 90 minutes and it's alright. It's just like, kind of like a, you know, standard like half romantic, half comedy kind of thing. But then it goes on for another like half an hour, 40 minutes for no reason, really.
Yeah.
Just to sort of like puff it out. But it lingers way beyond its welcome, you know. But like Woman in Black does the exact opposite, where like you're like really getting into it, and it's like you're reaching the peak, and you have like the whole, you know, the sort of the main incident in the house. But then it's just like it very quickly sort of drops off, and it's like this is the end, which is like not a bad thing.
Yeah,
definitely not a bad thing. Because it just like it sort of ends very, very quickly, like a ghost, just disappears. You know, dissolves. But like it's only 80 minutes. Like you have that horrible moment, out in the swamps, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's a whole other horrible moment. But like that's the end of the film. You know.
Yeah.
Very, very good stuff. It's a completely different ending to the book though.
How does the book end?
The book ends with his wife is alive in the book,
Oh.
and there's a big happy ending, but it's a false ending, which is maybe sort of the inspiration they took for the film in a way or whatever. It's like a false kind of ending where like you assume everything, because you know the way at the end of the film everything seems fine,
Yeah.
but then it's not.
Yeah.
Very suddenly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Something awful happens really quickly.
Yeah, it's like that. The book is like that as well, but commits way more to it, and there's like a lot more sort of time dedicated to it. And then all of a sudden, it's like way more horrific as well. There's like a big accident, like in a public park and stuff. The book is scary. It's one of the few like books that like proper like spooked me back in the day.
Good spooky books. I need to find more of those.
Yeah, they need to make more of them.
When I watched this film, years ago, I was watching it with my mom and my sister. It was like one of the first like when we started getting into horror films like as a family, like, and we were watching it. And I was living in Donnycarney at the time. And the way that the Donnycarney house that worked was we had our living room, and then behind like the living room, like kind of like open plan kind of job, was the dining room, and then to the side was the toilet. Like there was the downstairs toilet. There was the only toilet in the house, and I went to the toilet and I came back. But my mom was sitting with her back to the dining room, and my sister was sitting on the couch, and the couch was on the side, and my sister could see me, and I just stood there after watching Woman in Black. I just stood there, and my sister was talking to my mom, and then she like froze and she stopped. But my mom didn't know what was behind her, and I just started laughing, like going, and my mom fucking leapt out of her fucking skin.
Yeah. Jesus, that would spook you, like spook you. Oh my god.
It was a proper like Woman in Black jump scare that I didn't realize.
Yeah. You were the Woman in Black.
The Owen in Black.
Yeah. I love that sort of spook myself out, just getting spooked out.
I love getting scared.
Yeah.
I love getting scared.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
Something
about getting scared. It's great.
Yeah.
We go for a break before we get on to...
Go for a break for... Before
what?
Huh?
And now, on to our recommended movies. Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. The Before Trilogy. Starring Ethan Hawke, Judy Delpy. Directed by Richard Linklater. A la School of Rock. His greatest film ever made.
Yeah, one of the greats.
The Before Trilogy. Summary. We see Jesse and Celine in their first meeting. Then 9 years later, the second meeting. And then we catch up with them 9 years on again in Greece. So Vienna, Paris, and then Greece.
18 years.
18 year span.
It's like Boyhood, but like
he's mad for
separate films. Yeah, he's mad for his...
Ethan Hawke is also in Boyhood as well.
Yeah, he must be great mates with Rick.
Yeah, he must be.
Ricky Linklater.
Good old Ricky.
Yeah, no, this is... I adore these films.
I loved these movies.
I fell in love with these films.
Yeah.
Much like the characters themselves. It's so comfy. I'd heard that this was like... These were one of the greats. I've always been meaning to watch these.
Same.
Like, for a long time. But I just never got around to it.
We've said it to each other off podcasts constantly, so I was like, fuck it, we'll just do it. We'll just do all three of them. Especially because the middle one's 80 minutes long.
Yeah, it's like, what was it, 4 hours altogether?
Yeah, each one is an hour and a half, basically.
Yeah. They're lovely and short. And there's no lag, you know. There's no lag in there. It's
Holy shit.
It's like, just, there's such a flow to everything.
For films that are just conversation, these are the greatest films ever made.
Yeah, there's nothing to these films. It's just the two... There's only two characters, really. Except for, like, the last film, you have, like, a few...
Yeah, for one scene, you have a few...
Yeah, you have a few kind of side characters. But they're just there to add a bit of accent to the thing. You know, develop the themes. Give the main character something to talk about. But like for something that is just two characters talking for nearly 4 hours, like it's like it's just hard to not want to not watch it.
Yeah.
Like even like I was skipping through tabs at different points, but like you were saying before, it's like a podcast almost. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
It's like a podcast.
You can just kind of listen to it in the background, but also when you do look over. Like
it's really well shot. Yeah.
The feeling of the cities that they're in as they're walking around, you get a vibe from where they're walking around. That adds to it visually. Visually, these films are stunning as well.
Yeah. There's a real sense of of like scale and like place, like a really like clear sense of place, because it's like the first one's set in Vienna, and the second one's in Paris, and the third one's in like the Peloponnese Islands or something like that in Greece. It's like a grand tour of Europe, like, but it's like, man, I wish I was in those cities, you know.
Man, as soon as the first one started, I was like, I want a holiday so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
And the last one was the worst of that. I was just like they're in Greece for 6 weeks,
and they're on their holidays.
Yeah, and they're on their holidays in Greece for 6 weeks. I was like, I am so jealous of these people.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be these people, you know.
So bad.
Just fucking chilling in the sun, riding, having nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like, what we do? We'll just chat.
Chat about philosophy.
Yeah, for ages. Yeah.
And we'll go through the first. We'll do it chronologically. We'll go through the first one, second one, third one.
Yeah.
Makes most sense. But now having watched the trilogy in full, because I didn't realize that they actually ended up with each other. I thought that was the whole thing of the Before trilogies, that the characters actually never end up with each other. But then obviously by the third one we realized no, they do.
Yeah, the opening scene. Yeah.
It's a great. We'll get onto that one, but like it's a great fucking reveal in the third one. It's like, oh no, these are like established, like they have kids together and stuff, like by the third one. And it's a great like reveal because he's talking to his son, and then he comes out, and then Judy Delpy's there, and like, oh,
like, what?
Right, okay, didn't realize that.
But that makes so much sense.
But the first one immediately starts out with an old couple having an argument, and that's what causes Judy Delpy to get up and sit beside Ethan Hawke.
I never noticed that.
Yeah. Which only looking at my notes now did I cop like, oh right, yeah,
that makes sense.
That's like that's what they end up as.
It's like he planned it 18 years in advance.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how, like,
man, how do you do that?
Did he plan doing that? I don't know. But that's
so weird.
The inciting moment for these characters to, you know, starts to bond is an old couple having an argument and Judy Delpy getting up and sitting beside Ethan Hawke, and they just start up a conversation and they just start talking, and then we move on from there. But it's funny in the first film that they're like, oh, imagine being an old couple giving out. Would hate to be those two.
Yeah.
Little did you fuckers know.
You didn't see the third film.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, like Jesse and Celine, like just incredible characters that you just want to chill around with as well.
Yeah, very.
Especially the first one.
Very developed, straight in there. Very. There's like a really clear sense of who they are as characters. You know, straight away. Like even the way they talk. I think a lot of it is. It's like maybe it's not like improvised. I know that when he was developing the series, or at least the first film, like he has the writing credits is Richard Linklater and another woman who we should know the name of. I'm gonna look her up right now. Yeah,
because I know that like Richard Linklater, when he was developing the film, I don't know if this is what you're gonna say.
Yeah,
he said he wanted the film to be 50-50 between. He didn't want it to just be like a man's perspective of a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he got Kim Krizan apparently. She's on board, and she's like a co-writer with him. And then obviously the two main characters played by Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, and they were sort of brought in.
And they were allowed to work with the script as well.
They're allowed to like rewrite different parts, and like there's like some scope for improvisation and stuff like that. So in a way, he was like, it wasn't just like the way a usual director would get the actors on board. It's like bringing the actors on board to the director's vision. Whereas I saw in an interview, I think it was Ethan Hawke saying that like the process for the Before trilogy was to get the actors involved in the vision itself, like you know, like a kind of a social process to like. It's like a collective vision. It's not just a Richard Linklater film.
Yeah.
It's like sort of all four of these characters.
Yeah.
Or all four of these people.
It's the best way to make a movie. Collaboration.
Yeah.
You know?
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
As the lesson of this trilogy, basically. But yeah. It's like it's so well developed. Like the characters. I think that has a lot to do with how much access the actors were given.
Yeah.
To the like the script and stuff like that. Like straight away, Ethan Hawke's there chatting away, and it's just like, you know this guy.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone knows someone like that.
It's like I've seen you. I've sat beside you before.
Yeah. And Julie Delpy, it's like her character. It's like Celine. It's the same thing, but like they're very, very different. Like they're very different characters. You know, like there's nothing. It's not like a like I don't know, like a Tarantino or a Sorkin kind of thing where they talk the same way or like they have like the same viewpoints. Like they're very they're not just like, they don't just have the different opinions. like they have different ways of seeing the world and different ways of talking.
Completely different viewpoints on like how to view like, especially in the first film, very, very different ways at looking at the world. And I think that comes into him being an American and her being a European, and that like kind of culture clash between the two with how they view things. To be honest, Jesse pissed me the fuck off in the first film. like not entirely. Like I was like, oh, you're a great guy.
On the train, like
not on the train. Like when they're at the palm reader. And he's just like, oh, she's just trying to steal your money or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shut up, man. You're ruining the moment.
It's like, man, you had it in. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just go along with it.
Shut the fuck up. Just.
That's what I found that really cool, because I was imagining, like, you know, I've heard so many great things about the films, and I was imagining this kind of thing where it'd just be kind of like I don't know,
sappy.
yeah, like a mutual kind of masturbation kind of thing, where it's just like them and they're like perfect for each other, and like these really, you know, cool characters, and like you just admire them and you want to be them. But like after the first, like the sort of the setup on the train, they go out into Vienna, and they're looking around, and like you get to a moment like that where a palm reader comes up, and like they don't know each other really at this stage. It's just Celine, Jesse, and they're still kind of getting to know each other. They only met a few hours ago, and like it's sort of like the palm reader comes up and she's reading Celine's hand. And she's into it, and she's like, oh, like, it's really cool, like, what she's saying, stuff like that. And Jesse's just like, oh, she's just trying to scam me. Like, it's a very cynical outlook on it. It's like a scene, like, that really tells you a lot about, not just the characters, but, like, sort of develops the characters in a way that, like Jesse could have just been, like, this really suave, cool guy who's, like, a perfect man for this random woman. But, he's a very flawed kind of character, and he's very, very different to her in a lot of ways, and they don't like meet perfectly in the middle on everything,
which is realistic.
Which is how everything is, you know, like any kind of relationship.
I have seen, like, I swear to God, I have seen myself be that person, and like,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I've done that.
I've done that before, and like, I've like, I'm trying not to be that anymore. I'm like, you just go with the flow more so, you know, like, don't, because it's a magical little moment that like she's enjoying. And you're just trying to fucking like be so cynical and be like, oh, she's trying to fucking steal your money or whatever. But then later on, they're having an argument about it.
And then she brings it up. Yeah,
she brings it up, and it's like, and they're having their first argument, and they're interrupted by this poetry dude, and the guy writes a fucking poem. And like they're like, when your man's writing the poem or whatever, they're by the side or whatever, and they're like talking, and Ethan Hawke, or Jesse's just like, I'm gonna refer to them because it's easy to remember the two characters' names. Jesse's just like, like, you know, whatever, sorry, basically. And then they get the poem, and they read the poem, and it's a really nice poem, and then they're walking away, and Jesse immediately, like, straight fucking away, goes like, oh, you know, he has like a set poem, and he just like slots in the word or whatever, and you're like, man, what are you doing?
What are you doing, man?
You're doing the same thing again.
Yeah. Shooting himself in the foot. But yeah. It's I just love that, the fact he's very, very flawed in like a really like an obnoxious way, but like a really realistic way.
Especially because he's young. Like, he's 23. He's our age.
Yeah, and he thinks he knows everything and stuff like that. But he's also sound. He's also cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, there's so many different facets to him. But like, it's like not just him. It's her as well. It's not even the case of like, oh, he's a man, she's a woman. There's a lot of gender talk as well in the film.
There's a lot of gender talk throughout all three of the films.
Yeah, throughout all three. It's not just a case of like, oh, they don't understand each other because, you know, they're different, you know, different genders or whatever. It's like it's like a human thing. Like, it is like the romance films at the end of the day, but it's like a lot of the point is related to like social relationships just in general, you know, stuff like that. Like, people just have different ways of seeing it, and like she's kind of more like, I don't know, in touch with like emotions and stuff like that, more like a vibe kind of thing. Whereas he's like a kind of a cynical kind of rationalist, and
he's like the writer as well, which ties into that.
Yeah. Like, he thinks, you know, he's got it sorted out, where she's just kind of going with the flow. Yeah. But they also have like different sides of each other that like relate to different, I don't know, just different facets of their own personalities, you know. But yeah, it's the first one's a whirlwind, you know, very, very romantic, like the most romantic out of all of them anyway.
Easily, because it ties into the fact that they're like young people in Vienna walking around, and it's kind of, dreamlike in how they're just kind of floating through Vienna. And they may even mention at one part that like it feels like we're in a dream or whatever the fuck. It's like a famous scene in the film where they're talking about like, oh, what if we just wake up all of a sudden and this was all a dream? Because that's kind of the feel of it. It's like this oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Naivety in terms of love. Because even like like the fact that like, you know, she's just met this dude and she's gonna get off a train and go around with them. Yeah. It is a pretty fucking dodgy thing to do. Like,
no, you would not do that in real life.
No,
like that wouldn't. Like, you know, like that's 9 times out of 10 that doesn't end well in real life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's the whole point of the first film. It's like a romanticization of the idea of romance, yeah, and of like meeting someone and like a relationship and stuff like that. It's like a complete kind of it's a fiction that you build up in your head, but at the same time, like there's like a base layer of truth to all of it. But like it's like very much, the first one very much caught up in like the whole whirlwind aspect of the beginning of something like that.
Yeah,
like the sort of like you're sort of swept off your feet. Like both of them are just like completely smitten with each other. Like they get on so well. And it just seems like everything's pointing towards something that can't happen, like them being together.
Like this isn't something that this is gonna only last one night.
Exactly, but that adds to the romance almost, because it's like, oh, like this is it's just pure passion, you know, pure passion.
I like the most beautiful fucking moment in the film is when they're in the record shop and they go into the listening booth and they just listen to the music, and the two of them look at each other when the other person isn't looking, and then when like Jesse's looking at Celine, and then when she looks at him, he quickly darts away. And then she's looking at him, and then he kind of like looks at the record player, and she darts away. Like,
that's perfect. Like,
super intimate moments. Perfect.
That's one of the best scenes I've ever seen. Like,
oh man, it's beautiful, and it's so heartwarming, and it's beautiful, and you like
it sums up the first film.
Yeah, that is a microcosm of the film, like the first one anyway. And oh man, I just love that scene so much, and like even the acting is amazing, because like it's that thing where like you feel like you're a third person walking around with these two people, just like kind of watching them, and you get these like really intimate moments, like this really confined space, and you're like in there, like the camera is in this box with them, and you can see all the little nuances that the actors are doing. It really made me, because I've always heard like Ethan Hawke. I never really heard of like Judy Delpy in like much else, but like, you know, everyone knows who Ethan Hawke is, and I've always heard like, hey, he's a great actor. Now I can fully see why.
He is.
He's amazing. The two of them are phenomenal in these movies. Each, like, they're equally on par. Like, I never really heard of Judy Delpy before, but this made me realize, oh yeah, I can see why Ethan Hawke is as regarded as an actor as he is.
Yeah, the man's a king.
It's
like the way they talk is so naturalistic as well. Like they misspeak and like talk over each other and stuff like that. And like they recognize that at the start, it's like, oh, this is really awkward, you know.
It's weird.
It's like not something like worth filming really, but at the same time, like that's the sort of I don't know, the flow of it. Like that's the whole point of sort of the format, you know. It's just filming, or like sort of telling the story like as it happens, because the whole like all three films pretty much take place like according to the time that the story is actually happening. Yeah. You know, it's all very...
It'll take place over one day.
Yeah, it's all in real time, pretty much. Which is like, you know... Because there's a massive theme about time there. And transience.
Yes. They mention, like, memories and, like, reliving your memories and stuff like that constantly throughout the films.
It's like the whole, like, the concept of, like, Kairos.
Yes.
Like, opposed to, like, Chronos and stuff like that. Like, they both have... Two characters with, like, you know, complete lives. And they have careers. And they have families and stuff like that. But like they're in this one place at this one time, and they recognize, you know, for a moment that this is a moment that they will look back on. Even on the train, like that's his justification. That's his the way he convinces her to get off the train.
Yeah,
he's like, imagine 20 years you're married and you're sort of unsure about your husband. You're having a bad time or whatever, and you think back to like, oh, your lost loves that could have been. And I'm one of those guys. Yeah, come join me just to disprove. Yeah. Just to show that I'm not worth going out with.
Yeah. That I'm not like worth I'm not worth the regret.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is cool, because it's the whole, just the idea of like sort of time being compacted into these little moments, little spaces, and like they're told in like 3 different parts across, you know, decades in the scope of the trilogy. yeah,
And there's a moment as well where they're in a graveyard, and Celine has been in Vienna before, and she brings Jesse to a graveyard, and it's like in a kind of unmarked kind of graveyard or something. Like there are people that have washed up from like accidents throughout the years or whatever.
Yeah, from the Danube or whatever.
And she brings him over to one gravestone, and it's a 13-year-old girl, and she's like, this is like one of the first moments I thought about death, because I was like, the girl's like 13 or whatever, and I was 13 when I saw this, and now I'm 23, and she's still 13.
Yeah, the film, they're full of like little lines like that to make you go, oh fuck.
Yeah, because you're watching this film now, and Celine is forever 13 or 23 now. Like this is the moment. Like, this is a moment that's captured and held in time forever now.
Yeah,
Like Celine will always be 23 in this movie. She'll always be 32, whatever. I think she's 32 in the next one, and then 41 in the last one. Like, these characters and the actors themselves will forever be this age, and you can, like, it's almost like looking back at these characters. You're reliving these memories for the characters, basically.
Yeah. It's a really cool sense of time and space.
Yeah,
you know, for a film.
Especially because they're walking around spaces. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Even the names of the films, like Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight, all like these, like, they're all moments like that happen all the time, but at the same time they're like key, like, liminal moments, like moments of like transition and stuff like that. Moments that like really matter, like sort of define everything else. Yeah, you know, it's like how you define the day.
Yeah.
It's just like that concept of time, because it's throughout every film in the series. I found that really cool. Even just like what you're saying, like that girl is always 13. Like she died at 13. That's why she'll always be. Celine is always going to be 23, and then the justification, like in the first film, like imagine you're 40 years old and you're unhappy in your marriage. Take this moment to diverge from a memory that hasn't been created yet. You know, this whole idea of being aware of remembering something that hasn't happened. Yeah. You know? Like,
make the choice for this not to be a regular day. Yeah. Make the choice to make this moment into a memory.
Yeah.
That you will look back on.
Yeah, actively living in the moment. Yeah.
Which is what Celine is like all about nearly. She's all about, you know, going with the flow and like memory and like thinking about things. But like Jesse thinks about it in terms of almost like a more literary way. Like he's more about, I don't know, he's just more, even in terms of like his, like the reason why he's there. The reason why he's there is a memory enough that he's going to fucking have. Yeah. That he went over to meet his girlfriend and it just didn't work because it's long term. And he's like, oh fuck, I'm just going to go around Europe. Like, he's going to remember this anyway. And then Celine says to him, like, when they're lying in the park and they're talking about whether or not they're going to have sex. And she's like, I don't want to be a story that like, oh, I found this French girl and we walked around Vienna and then I fucked her afterwards. Like, I don't want to be that. I don't want that to be the memory that you're going to have of me. I want it to be something more special than that. I want it to be more something more precious.
Yeah.
It's this whole thing of like, what, like, Ethan Hawke had this great fucking description for the movies, and it's each film is representative of something. Before Sunrise is about what could be. Yeah. Before Sunset is about what could have been or what should have been, and then Before Midnight is about what is.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
Perfectly sums up each one of the movies. Because this whole thing is like these are young people at the fucking prime of their lives, complete freedom. They're at the stage, and Ethan Hawke says this in the last film, but they're at the stage where they're not married, but they're not living at home, and they're not in school or anything, and they've complete freedom to do whatever they want. And you have about 10 years where you can do that, where you have no real commitments, so make the most of it and make as many memories as you can while doing that.
Yeah, and like they choose to actively live in the present, but like being aware at all times of like what came before and like what could be, you know, stuff like that. It's just like, it's very much about living, you know, in the moment and stuff like that. Because they talk about that. That's a big thing in the second film.
Yeah, might as well move on to the second film.
Yeah. With because what is it? It starts out in cafe, and Jesse is now a writer, and he's
in the bookstore. Yeah.
Yeah, in the bookstore. Yeah, and the way it's written as well, it's like they're like dropping seeds, dropping little breadcrumbs throughout the entire thing. Like it's never, there's no exposition, but like you find out within the first 10 minutes that Jesse is now a writer. He's a published author, and he's published a book about, or basically a fictionalization of what happened in the first film, where he's talking about, the book is about an American meeting a French woman, and like a whirlwind romance, stuff like that, and like it doesn't work out and all that kind of thing. And he's doing a reading in Paris at a bookstore, and Celine shows up, and they have like every film has like this sort of time limit where they have to do something within. In the first film
they're always leaving. One of them is leaving the location, or they're both leaving the location. They're
always sort of like just sort of passing through. And in the first one, it was that like that Jesse had to catch a flight in the morning at sunrise, around sunrise. That was the point. And then in the second one, it's that Jesse had to also catch a flight, but this time in the evening, so before sunset. But like they're talking in the cafe for ages, and she goes on about how she was in like East Germany or something like that, and there's like no advertisements and stuff, and no TV. She couldn't understand the TV. She had no distractions basically. But she found that she was like journaling more, and she was like having thoughts that she would never have because she was forced to live in the moment because she wasn't distracted by things around her.
Jesse has a line about that kind of in the first film as well, where he's like talking about like when you're looking at it in a train, and you have thoughts that you'd only have when you're on the train when you're bored and you've nothing to fucking do, and you just like look out and you just have these thoughts. And his idea that he has is like a 24-hour TV show, and it's like a poetry of life kind of TV show. That's basically what these films are. Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, she's talking about like how she like completes. It's like
complete boredom to the point that it was like inspirational.
Yeah,
it was like a natural high. She said that's one of the quotes. But because that's the thing, because it's something. It's like a transcendental kind of vibe.
It is.
Just like letting things happen, but like being in touch, like actively participating in what's directly around you. Because I have the whole. They're always in touch with time and stuff like that. But the first film has this idea, this concept of time as like this thing that's all like it's
opportunity.
Yeah. It's like your opportunities when you're younger is perceived as like huge because you have this like narrative of like how your life should go. But like there's so many different branches you can go into. Like there's so many different things that could happen. And then the second film is dealing with things having happened, and like you seem to have like sort of cordoned yourself off into like this single branch.
You're almost at the halfway point of your life.
So
like things are committed. Things are starting to like set into place of what's gonna happen afterwards, and they have all this regret of like what could have been. Because we then find out when they start talking that Celine's like, "Oh, were you there like in December?" Because at the end of the first film, they're like, "Oh, we'll meet back here in 6 months' time to like fully blossom our relationship or whatever." And Celine's like, "Oh, were you there?" And Jesse's like, and she's like, "You weren't, were you?" And he's like, "No, I wasn't." And she's like, "Oh, good, because I wasn't there either. I couldn't be there because my grandma died." And they have a conversation about that. And then she's like, "Wait a second, why weren't you there? If you never explained why you weren't there." And he's like, I was there." And you're like, "Oh my god, that is awful." And
what a king, what a pure king.
And she's like laughing, but she's like, "I'm so fucking sorry."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You must hate me." He's like, "No, I could never hate you."
Yeah,
because you were such a special moment beforehand.
Yeah, it's so sweet. It's so sweet because even at that moment, like I think she asked like, "Oh, how you been?" stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my life's been terrible since I last saw you. Like as soon as you left my life, like it's been shit. It's been all been downhill." But like they're joking. And she says something similar about like when they had sex or whatever. But they're both joking. But at the same time, they're both, they're not lying.
Yeah, they're not lying.
They're just sort of saying
they're making light of.
Yeah, it's how they're communicating. It's like, I don't know, it's just like how you communicate with people. Like sort of like, I don't know, there's like a guard in front of it. There's like this sort of plausible deniability behind what they're trying to be vulnerable, but they don't want to. Because they haven't met each other in ages, and they're at this really important moment.
They've only spent one day with each other at this stage.
Yeah, and they're unsure like what they should say. So they say it in like a roundabout way, and it's just like it's so true to how like people actually talk. It's like I just found that like amazing. Like the way it's written,
Yeah.
it's just like so accurate.
And this is the one where Judy Delphi and Ethan Hawke are credited writers on this film as well as Richard Linklater.
Oh, is that the one? Yeah, the middle one.
The middle one is when that happens. Even if the fact like the middle one takes place over 80 minutes, the runtime of the film, like from the start of the film to the end of the film, is real time. Like this is, there is the time limit is even more constrained than in the first film. Like there's time skips in the first film because it takes place over like a couple of hours. This one is 80 minutes. Like these characters have an hour and a half to talk shit and like catch up or whatever. And the conversations are completely different to the ones in the first film. I was worried, like, going into the trilogy that, like, is it going to be kind of samey in each one? Completely different.
Yeah.
Like,
somehow they managed to make
I don't know
very
how.
different. Yeah. Because, like, I think it was...
And the characters still make sense. Like, it's a logical progression for these characters as well.
Yeah. Because, like, I saw an interview where I think it was Richard Linklater talking about when they were first discussing the film with the actors, and Julie Delpy was like, would it not be boring just to have people talking, walking around a city? And he says something about how, like, you could walk around Vienna for, like, 6 weeks and not get bored. It's like, if you're just authentic and, like, truthful about, how these kind of things play out, like the environment and how people interact and how people, like, who are in love or, like, who find someone that they really, enjoy
And connect with.
like, yeah, someone that's like a real connection. If you can represent that on the screen, there's no way it can be boring.
Yeah.
And it's like no part of any of these films is boring in any
not
way. Like,
no moment of this film is
it's
boring.
insane. It's actually insane. And like even in the second one, like the second one's really great for like dropping like little hints that like nothing, like there's no exposition, as we were saying before, and like it's revealed that Ethan Hawke's character has been married.
And that's the halfway point.
Yeah,
that's revealed. I was like, that is fucking brilliant.
And he has a kid.
Because like at that stage, you're like, oh, these could probably catch up, and then you're hit like the halfway point. Like, no, like if anything's gonna happen, it's gonna be a fucking struggle, and there's gonna be an issue about it.
There's a huge like blockage there. It's like something they have to overcome, but you only have 40 minutes pretty much to decide what's gonna happen. So there's like there's no stakes, but at the same time, it's like that transcendental thing. Like the stakes are so low. There's sort of low intensity that like these kind of small moments like actually
have huge impact.
There's huge weight behind them. Yeah, it's really well done.
I can only imagine if you actually watch this. Like, imagine seeing these films like when you are 23 and when you are 32 and when you are 41, like being the actual age of because there was definitely people that did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That saw them in like...
Because they were released in real time pretty much as well. Like it was 9 years apart, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, each one was 9 years apart. Just one thing that I have, like, there's a key thing in the second film about like this kind of fantasization of like what could have been. Like if you, especially in terms of like what someone could like. Jesse and Celine don't really know each other, and it feels like in the 9 years in between, they've constantly been thinking about what could have been with each other, and they've really fantasized and like came up with this image of what their life could have been or what it should have been if they stuck with each other. And it's like regret, but also like it could still kind of happen. Like we're still pretty young, and in the third film it does happen, but like this idea of not really seeing someone for what they are, because it's almost because when they do talk about what happened, they never talk about the fact that like they had arguments in the first one. They never think about that.
They're only like around each other for a few hours and they're like arguing in the street.
Yeah, they never think about that.
Yeah.
They think about because also Celine had me convinced that they actually didn't have sex. I was like, wait, no, they did. Did they not have sex?
Yeah, because they don't show it. I was like, really?
I was like, I'm pretty sure that they did have sex. She convinced me that they didn't have sex.
I believe you, Celine.
Yeah, I believe Celine. Oh, Celine's such a queen.
She is, yeah.
Oh, she's great. Oh,
God.
She's one line in the first film as well about like how the media... Oh, no, maybe it's in this film.
It's in the second film, yeah.
About the media. About the media and how it's like a new form of fascism. I was like, yup, Celine, you get
Absolutely. I was like, this woman, like, oh my God.
Oh, she's too good for this man.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
And like the fact that like the two of them have been doing things with their lives and they're completely different people like in the span of 2 years, they're more mature. The conversations are way less about theory and are way more political in this one. Like they've gotten older and they've realized the world is shit.
Yeah, she's like an activist and stuff.
Like the world is a bad place, and it's not, it's not as hopeful as it once was. Like the first film came out in 1995. It's set in 1994. The Berlin Wall is after collapsing. Like there's a whole like positive vibe of what could be. This is now a post 9/11 world, and it's like there's the Middle East and there's wars going on more now.
She goes off on him because he's like, actually things are grand.
It's like, you stupid American.
Like, yeah, you fucking yank. She's dead on though.
She is dead on.
Correct.
She is correct.
Yeah. Fucking Celine. She is such a queen, underrated queen. He doesn't deserve her, man.
He doesn't. He's a fucking claw bean. Just because he has that fucking greasy hair in the first and
just because he's got the devilish good looks. Yeah. My God.
And he's a little charmer with his theoretical beliefs about fucking memories and time.
Yeah, the memories.
Doesn't give a shit about the politics though.
Yeah,
he's a
exactly.
Stupid positive yank.
Fucking yank. Yeah, he's always on about commies in the second one as well.
Yeah, he is. He keeps calling her, because her cat is called Che, and she's just like, commie.
Yeah. Yeah, that ending scene, that's like the perfect ending to the second one as well. When they're he goes back to, he drops her off, or he gets picked up by a guy supposed to bring him to the airport, and he's like, come with me, I'll drop you off to your gaff. And in the cab they have like this mad argument.
Oh my God, it's heartbreaking as well.
It's like proper hard to watch, because she's there thinking, because he's married, and they're sort of having to deal with the fact that they can't really ever see each other again.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like breaking down, and she's just like, because she has like a boyfriend, he's like a war photographer, he's always away and stuff like that, but she's always apparently getting with men who just like go off and get married.
Yeah. And
like she has like these different affairs and stuff like that.
She's a transition period for all these men, and they come back and they're like, oh, thanks very much, you taught me what love is. Like, but what about me? Why did none of you ask me to marry you?
Yeah,
like, I would have said no, but at least ask me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's, it's like a throwaway line, but it's like it's like something that it's the truth pretty much. Like, just doesn't want to be a stepping stone to something. But like, yeah, it's like a really emotional scene. She's like breaking down, so she tries to get out of the cab. But they end up back in her gaff. It's like in the middle of the day, like, or like the evening. They're having like a barbecue outside, and there's like a cat and stuff, and it looks class. It's like pure
French vibes.
Yeah, the most French scene I've ever seen in my entire life. And they go up to her to like her apartment or whatever, and she's playing a little song. And like, it's like, you're always conscious of time, because he has to get a flight. He has to get back in the cab, and he has to go get his flight. And like, the way it ends is just like perfect setup.
Oh, it's beautiful,
because it just evokes, like, it's the whole thing where like, I think it's at the beginning of the third film, and he's written the books, or maybe it's in the second film, but like the he's asked a question about the book. He's like, a reporter is like, what happens at the end? Do they get together? And Jesse's answer is, it depends if you're a romantic or a cynic. And like, that's how the films actually end every time.
Like, that's how, especially the second or the first film, you're like, oh, will they ever get with each other? Don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I feel like at the end of the second film, it's very obvious that, like, because she's like, you're gonna miss your plane, baby. Like, she's like acting as Nina Simone, and he's like, yeah, I know. And he just like smiles.
Yeah, and it cuts.
And you're just like,
perfect.
You're just like, he's gonna stay. Like, he's gonna miss that flight. He doesn't give a shit, because it's like because you're constantly aware of the constraint of time, that there is a deadline, and the last moment of the film, there is no deadline.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care.
He's like, I don't care. There is no deadline anymore. I'm staying here.
It's the perfect way to end the film. Like, they could have not made a third one, and that would have been a perfect ending.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been two of the best films ever made.
Yeah. But then they went and made a third one.
They made a third one.
Before
Midnight. Yeah. Midnight.
2013. I remember when this came out.
I remember like being 14 and hearing about this movie, but not really knowing that there was a trilogy. I didn't really know anything about the films.
Yeah, I remember. I think I watched the Oscars or something that year, and it was nominated for something. I just saw a few clips, and that's the only way I was aware of the trilogy or whatever. But like, I didn't get it. I was just like, oh, it's like a gimmick where they like walk around and talk for ages and stuff like that.
We should also note that these are the least pretentious things I've ever fucking seen as well.
Yeah.
You think that they'd be mad pretentious, but they're so emotional that like,
it's way more. Yeah, it's way more like an emotional thing than it's not like because I was thinking, like, comparing it to something like, what was it called? I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Yes.
Which is just, for a long time, it's just Jesse Plemons and your one in the car talking.
That is pretentious.
That is the most, like, some of the most pretentious cinema. Some of the most pretentious scenes ever put to cinema. Put to film. You know, it's just them talking about
David
books.
Foster Wallace and shit, like.
But it's just talking about books and, like theory and stuff like that. But, like, that's the vibe of that thing.
Yeah.
And, like, that's fine.
It works for that film.
It works for that film, but this one is like, it's not that at all. Like, they talk about, like, you know, heavy stuff, but it's the way you talk about that in, like, you know,
in real life.
In real life, yeah. If you're going to talk about anything like that, like, that's the way you wouldn't go in about, like, quoting fucking David Foster Wallace in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah.
Everyone would be like, what the fuck is this guy on? Like, and this one's very organic. It's just how
people talk.
Yeah, how you access those kinds of subjects in real life. That's really good. Like, it's not pretentious. It's very accessible.
Yeah, it's great.
Naturalistic.
Yeah, and then before midnight, we realize that they have actually spent, like, time together, and they have kids, and they're established. I saw something about Richard Linklater talking about the third film, about how, you know, there's never any films. There's always films about, like, the blossoming of love, which is the first film, and the second film as well. Like, this blossoming relationship. There's nothing about the complete fucking mundanity of an actual relationship when you are in your 40s, and you don't really have your next hurdle in life. The next hurdle is death, basically.
Yeah.
And, like, that's actually mentioned in the film as well.
Yeah.
Where he tells Celine that, like, oh, I got off to the phone to my dad, my grandma died or whatever, and he's like, oh, she was 96. She spent fucking 72 years with my granddad, and he, like, makes a joke to his dad. I can't remember what the joke was, but he says, like, some joke that his dad doesn't find funny at all. And then,
oh yeah, you're an orphan now.
Yeah, you're an orphan now.
That's just bad.
How did you think died literally 2 hours ago, bro? But then she says, well, it's him. He's gonna die next, and then it's you. I was like, that's one, like, the next major event. Like,
that's where it's like it's within sight. Like,
it's within sight. Like,
which is great, but like 30, it's always in sight. Like.
30, 40 years, whatever. But, like, you know, you've already had your kids. He's been married and he's been divorced. The next thing in his life is that maybe marrying Celine. Don't know about that by the end of this film. But beyond that, it's death. Like, that's the end.
Yeah, because it's the whole thing. It's like the tree of life.
And like, it's stuff before midnight. Like, before, like.
Actually, yeah, because, like, they've gone down their paths, and, like, the memories they were talking about in the first film are now actual memories.
They're not potential memories. They are memories.
Yeah, they are actual memories now. But they do touch on that. Like, they're not concrete memories. Like, you're always going back and revising the past. Like, the way they went back in the second film and, like, recreated. Like they, in the second film, at the start of it, they had this idea of a memory of this lost love that could have been.
Yeah.
But they went back and changed it. Like, it's always something that can be changed. Like, it's a very contingent kind of thing.
Well, oh yeah, there is something about that. In this film, I think it is something about we're constantly living our memories or something like that. Like, memories are never finished.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, it's something that it's a creative process, like social relationships in general. You know, it's like a huge emphasis on the social, and all throughout the series, but especially in this film as well, because you have the added elements of they have 3 kids essentially. Like, they have 2 kids together, and then he has a kid. In America, which is kind of like the
inciting moment.
Yeah, the inciting incident of this film. Like, his wife or his ex-wife in America is, like, sort of holding the kid hostage, or like something. She has custody anyway, and he doesn't like that, and he's trying to get Celine to move over to the States, and that's, like, the kind of the conflict, but a very mundane thing. Like, that's sort of the thrust of the third film. It's like it's 2 people in their 40s, and they're happily together, and they have kids, and they're on holidays. But, like, you know, they just have arguments. Like, that's gonna happen. It always happens in, like, any kind of relationship with anybody. And it's just, like, how that plays out. And there's a really cool thing that I saw. There was, like, an interview where Linklater was talking about anger, because there's a point where they talk about anger in the film. Because they have a big argument.
Oh, they have a fucking awful argument.
Yeah, because this is the first film where you properly see them, like, as they are. They talk about, in the first 2 films, they talk about how, you know, maybe we're not perfect for each other. Maybe we'll get to know each other and we won't like each other. We won't like our different mannerisms, or, like, you know, our different habits and stuff like that. And this is the first film where we actually see them living with each other
Mm-hmm.
and having lived with each other for a long time. And there's this whole thing where they just kind of fall out.
Yeah.
And then it's nothing major. It's actually very well done because they're like in like this fucking hotel room, and it's like a chain of it's like an escalation.
And it's like every film has built up to this point.
Yeah. And it's like it's a chain reaction in itself. Like they're sitting there on the couch. It's really well done. They're sitting there on the couch, and Ethan Hawke is pouring a glass of wine, and you think he's diffused the small little argument that they had.
Yeah.
But then it bursts back out again, and it's
way
worse.
Fucking way worse.
Way
and then
worse.
you realize, oh shit, they have 100% cheated on each other as well.
Yeah.
She says, you definitely fucked that girl Emily, and then he's like, well, you definitely sucked that guy's dick, and like she doesn't. She doesn't even. I took a note. I took one note in this film. So many conversations about blowjobs and death.
Yeah, man, they're making blowjob jokes in a little chapel in fucking Byzantine chapel.
She like puts her hands like she's doing a prayer, and she just licks up her fingers.
Yeah.
So, also, side note: Judy Delphi does not age.
No. Yeah, God bless her. God bless that woman. A Botticelli angel.
Oh yes, she is about it. She's a very beautiful woman. The conversations in each film revolve around something different. In this film, it is very firmly. It's not about theory. It's not about politics. About some grander thing. This is about family. Every conversation generally is about family and like death. And blowjobs.
Yeah.
And it's like, because like that's your focus when you're in your 40s. Like you have your kids, you have blowjobs. That's all you worry about.
That's true.
But it's like they only talk about like family for the most part and have arguments about it. And then the arguments are so natural. Like Jesse doesn't directly ever say to Celine, at least until like the end, that he wants her to move over. He's just talking about the fact constantly.
Yeah,
about
he's like talking away from her. He's like trying to get her to get on board.
Oh man, my kid's all alone there in America. I'm not asking you to move over, but like that kid's really suffering over there.
Yeah, it's so realistic.
And you even have that contrast between Jesse and Celine and the young couple at the dinner table, where the young couple at the dinner table are a similar thing. They're not. I think one of them is from Greece, the other one is from somewhere else, and they have a conversation about how these two, like in a similar vein to Jesse and Celine in the first film, couldn't really stay with each other after their first meet. However, there's a difference now, and that is that technology has increased to the point where these can FaceTime and can fall asleep with each other even when they're not there.
That's actually so cool that they addressed that, yeah. Because, like, the first film, watching the first film now, you're like, just add each other on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know? Or add each other on, like anything.
If but they don't even, like, they call each other fucking idiots in the second film. Like, we didn't even exchange, like, numbers.
Yeah,
he says, I think Jesse says to Celine, like, I don't even know your second name. But even the fact that, like, they would have to make phone calls or write letters, put in 2013 or 2012, whenever this film is set, you can Skype.
You just Skype, fall asleep next to each other, but, like, not actually be in the same room. That's what that young couple did. I did notice that, yeah. But like, it's the whole dynamic has changed now, you know. Very, very different.
Long distance relationships are way easier.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you can romanticize it, and there's like it's easier now. You know, it's like a different. It's like the distance is almost better because it leaves that space to romanticize it.
Yeah.
It leaves that space to sort of
for want.
Yeah, the desire. They talk about desire quite a bit in the film. How or like in the other films, I think it is. How it's like something that you always need to have, or you're always going to have. It's like a very human trait. A lot of talk about, human nature and stuff like that. Just the way we are. But there's a big thing about anger in the third film, which I saw Linklater talking about. Because there's a line when they're on that couch and they're talking about it, and he's talking about how she's like really fiery. Like she goes off on a mad one quite easy in the third one.
This is the first film I was like, Selena's a fucking bitch.
Yeah, man, he was there going, "You're fucking crazy." I was like, she seemed mad sound in the first two films. Like what's happened?
I hated the fact that she was telling him how to feel about his son's situation. It's like, fuck you, Selena. You're not going to tell him how to feel about this situation.
Yeah. But like that's the thing. Like they're so familiar with each other. They just go at each other. They know their own weak points.
Yeah.
Like
God, and they go for them.
Yeah, but like that's what happens when you spend so much time with someone. And like that's the thing, like you're always going to have conflict in that situation. And Linklater was talking about how like conflict is like not necessarily a bad thing. And something like anger can be like revelatory rather than like a negative thing. Like Ethan or what's his name? Jesse says to Celine, he's like, your anger is a negative, like it's not a positive thing in this context.
Yeah. He says like the difference between you and me is when I get angry, I'm not happy or something like that.
Yeah. He's talking about like how they react to anger or to being like unhappy with the situation, and she goes mad, and he kind of like
she was fucking off.
Yeah, he internalizes it, which is like it goes back to their whole thing where he's like kind of like this rational cynic that just kind of bottles it up, whereas she's like this emotional. She's in touch with her emotions. She's vibing.
Yeah, and that's the thing where he's extremely passive-aggressive in this film because he won't let loose, but he internalizes it, and he has these little fucking paper cuts at her.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire fucking movie.
Yeah, she mentions that, I think, in the second one.
Yeah.
Passive-aggressive.
Yeah.
Like how she hates that.
Yeah.
Which is, like, they literally, they spell it out in the second film, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, she says to him, like, he says something, she's like, she fucking goes off, like, that's it. That's your passive-aggressiveness. You're not saying what you actually want to say. You're just trying to appease me while you are actually angry with me. You're afraid of conflict.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, like Jesse sees it as a negative thing, which it is, like in the moment, in an immediate sense. But at the same time, it like allows like access to like something beneath, like the sort of the truth of it. You know, like they only get angry when they're like attacked in a way that like actually like hits home. That's like accurate, you know. And that's the whole thing that I think Linklater was talking about, like anger and conflict as something that like it's like chiseling a fucking stone, you know. It's like that's the way these things kind of work. You're gonna inevitably have conflict. You're gonna inevitably get angry in any relationship with anybody in like any kind of social context. Like that's the way, you know, social.
It's how communities work.
Yeah, how communities work. Yeah, all that stuff.
You can't, you know, it's like neither one of them. Well, Jesse hasn't properly communicated to Celine how he feels about these things, and you almost get the sense that like this is an argument that they've had before over and over again over the 9 years. And she even says it to him, it's like, you're just like this because your son left, and you always get like this. You always get upset after he leaves, but after a while you forget about it and you move on, and then it comes up again, and each time it's bigger and bigger because you're too afraid to actually say what you want to do.
Yeah. And then like the argument just like
explodes,
and it goes very, very badly, and it seems like all is lost.
And it's extremely upsetting because you've spent so much time with these characters.
Yeah, we invested so much. It's like 4 hours in, and they're about to like fucking end the whole thing. And it's really really distressing. But then they have that end scene on like a pier, and it's not like a happy ending or anything.
No,
it's like,
you're just like,
it's more like, but it's not like a menacing kind of thing or like ominous. It's like he shows up, like she's stormed off, and she's questioned the idea that like maybe she's not in love with him anymore.
She tells him, I don't love you anymore. And he's like, oh, I didn't think you meant that.
And he's like, oh, fuck's sake. But yeah, they go. She sits on the pier by herself, and he finds her. He sits down next to her. He's trying to make her laugh with this stupid like joke he made up, and like it doesn't work at all, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Like, usually, like if it's there in the film, it's gonna work. But like she's just like, that's not funny.
Yeah, she's
like that's just annoying.
She's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm still mad at you.
Yeah, but like the way she's brought the conflict to the fore, and like she's the aggressor pretty much. Like
this stage she is.
Yeah. Like she was like going at him like about like, you know, like sex and stuff like that.
Bullshit.
Yeah, going out. Like,
it's like, you're a terrible ride. I've been meaning to tell you that for ages.
Yeah, man, we've together like 9 years. And she's pure going right for the man's balls. Like,
I think as well she has something in the first two. One of the first two films, she's like, oh yeah, if a fella's like bad at sex, you just tell them straight away. But you can't really say it to them because it'll upset them. But you need to tell them eventually.
Yeah, men are very easily offended.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing about that. A lot of gender politics, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah,
That's
she's
the whole
like,
aspect of the film that we haven't
even talked about. We talked about this for an hour, man.
We talked about this film for an hour. We haven't even talked about that aspect of it.
But yeah, like, but she's aggressive. She's on the offensive in the whole situation. But like her kind of her being on the offensive has brought out the truth of like the matter. Like it's kind of like brought him out of his shell. It's like it's forced them to recognize like some of the little problems bubbling up. And like it's a good thing. It's like a cleansing thing. It's a revelatory thing. It's not a bad thing. It's something that's always going to happen. And the fact that they need to come through it if they have any hope of ever like.
Yeah, this is an issue that needs to be solved. And
Yeah,
if you don't solve it,
it's over.
It's do or die.
Yeah, and it's not even just specific to them. It's just how it's like it's a more general thing. It's like you're always going to run into these problems in any relationship.
And their problem is very complex, but like there's it's equivalent to all.
Yeah,
all relationships have something.
It could be any social relationship, romantic relationships. It could be anything, but like they have to get through it, and that's the whole thing. And then the film just kind of fades away.
Kind of ends on a note where if you're optimistic, they get over it.
Yeah,
pessimistic, it's over.
If you're a romantic, if you're a cynic, yeah, all that stuff. But it's very, very cozy stuff. Very cozy, man.
Amazing films.
Cozy.
Absolutely fantastic films. I adore these movies. Really, really, really
quality stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch them at some point.
Oh, easily. Man.
I missed so much. I was there like listening to it. I was like slow down. I had to go back at certain points,
I feel like each one of these films at different stages of your life will hit you hard, will hit you differently because they're about being at a different stage in your life. Yeah,
man. Imagine being 41 watching.
Man, imagine being 41 in a relationship that you're not happy with and you see this film.
Yeah, you're like, oh man.
Yeah. Like, oh man, I need to hop on a train and fucking talk to some random French girl.
Yeah. It can only go well.
Yeah.
It can only go well.
Amazing films.
Great stuff.
Highly recommend.
What a king. Yeah, what a king. Ethan Hawke, so much respect.
The best thing about
Julie Delpy, my God.
Oh, Julie Delpy, queen. Absolute queen. She has my heart.
Yeah.
God, when she licks her lips. The best thing about these films is that they live up to the hype as well.
Yeah, they really do.
They really do.
They really do.
And people not that they hate, but people see the third one as a letdown. I just think that it's
just realistic.
It's a hard movie because it's not an enjoyable movie like the other two.
Even the second one isn't that like it's not as sweet. The first one's really sweet, and the second one it ends on a sweet note, but the entire time through, it's kind of like I don't know.
It's a regret.
Yeah, it's more about regret than anything. And then the third one is quite difficult. But I think that's part of the cycle. That's the whole point, isn't it? That's what I'd say.
I'd say they're all very, very, very equal in terms of quality. In terms of quality, they're all the same.
What's your favorite one though?
Maybe the first is second one by a fucking
hair
inch over the first one.
I'd say the first one. Yeah. I'd say the first one.
I don't know. I think just like certain aspects of and I love the end. I find the end, especially because with the third one you realize he does stay.
The ending is
the ending, and I love the fact that it's over 80
on.
minutes, and like the conversation, the car scene fucking broke me.
yeah, it's so upsetting.
Great, phenomenal film.
So emotional. It's like I don't know. It's actually amazing. It's one of the best films, some of the best films I've seen in a long time, like
greatest, one of the greatest trilogies, easily.
Yeah. Sticks with you. Sticks with you. Or it stuck with me for the past day anyway. I watched it all today, but I'm sure it will stick with me.
Oh man, these are films as well that you can just rewatch.
Yeah, that's the thing. I plan to rewatch them soon.
And you pick up different things every time. Phenomenal films. Well, we go straight into our new section.
We will.
The news section. So we decided that we were going to talk about, news on the podcast, see if there's anything going on in the world, the cinema, and, anything interesting. And this week, there was news. Brendan Fraser is back for the second time.
He's back again.
He's back again, but this time, hopefully,
the mummy returns.
More solidly. Brendan Fraser, what the fuck did I write there? Brendan Fraser boards Brendan Fraser is in the new Martin Scorsese film. Also, didn't know that there was a new Martin Scorsese film to begin with. Killers of the Flower Moon, and he's also going to be in a comedy film called Brothers, which is by the director of Palm Springs. I've seen Palm Springs, very enjoyable movie. But that's not important because Brendan Fraser's back and he's going to be in a Scorsese film.
Yeah.
And he's also going to be in that Aronofsky film.
The Aronofsky, which one?
The Walrus or something it's called.
The Walrus.
Sort of fat, depressed dude.
Ah.
Which is what Brendan Fraser's been for quite a while.
It's just a documentary about Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, but man, he made a comeback a few years ago. Because he used to be such a hunk. Such a, like a sex symbol.
Oh my God.
Man, have you seen that picture of him, like, from the set of The Mummy 1? That's like him in the desert, and he just looks like a sex god.
Have you seen George of the Jungle?
Encino Man, bro.
Encino Man, he's so hot in these movies.
Yeah, man.
He's in the best episode of Scrubs.
Yeah, he used to be such an icon. Looney Tunes. I think his last hurrah was Furry Vengeance. Ever see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really bad movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, he was fucked for ages.
He was fucked.
Yeah, what happened to him? I know a few details, but I'm not sure.
Content warning. Brendan Fraser. Content warning.
I shouldn't laugh.
No, you shouldn't laugh because I put a reminder on the fucking news article to give a content warning. So what happened to Brendan Fraser is I think it's 2003, 2004. Brendan Fraser got blacklisted in Hollywood because in 2016 he came out and he's like, yeah, I got sexually assaulted in 2003 by a former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Really fucked up. He described what happened to him and it's really upsetting. The Foreign Press run the Golden Globes.
Shy.
Yeah. So
Load of shy.
a former president, sexually assaulted him. He suffered from depression because of that. He was also went through a string of surgeries in the early 2000s. I was reading an article and Brendan Fraser said like he was fucking in The Mummy 1. He was made out of fucking fucking blue tack and fucking Pritt stick was holding him together in that movie. That film nearly fucking killed him. The stunts.
He did all his own stunts.
Yeah, he did his own stunts. And
That was the problem, I think.
nearly fucking killed him. He had to do a bunch of surgeries. Pretty sure he got like addicted to fucking painkillers and stuff like that because of that. And then he had a divorce in 2007 and 2008.
Yeah, didn't he? He fell off his roof as well, broke his back. I'm pretty sure.
He was fucked.
Yeah.
Financially, physically, and in terms of the Hollywood elite. They're like, nah, he's done.
Yeah, Epstein job.
Yeah.
He got fucked.
The
same thing happened to Terry Crews, didn't it, as well?
Yeah, Terry Crews also got.
It's like pretty much the exact same story as well.
I'm pretty sure. I think
it's just a serial offender, man.
Yeah.
Epstein job. They're all the same over there.
I mean, we've heard this time and time again about Hollywood, but Hollywood is a fucking awful place.
It's a
the
pit.
awful people,
It
and
needs to be nuked.
these people need to be fucking outed. Brendan Fraser actually named the dude that did it, but I can't remember what the guy's name was.
Yeah, he's walking free.
He's walking free. He's floating
He's
about.
grand. He's old. He's loads of money. He's a millionaire. He's connections in Hollywood. He's literally untouchable. He can murder people. I'm sure he has murdered people. And
Probably has.
yeah, definitely has. If he's going around doing stuff like that, he's definitely done a lot worse.
He's definitely done it to other people as well.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people probably not as big as Brendan Fraser. Like everyone knows Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
the guy's huge. He's a king. He's loved.
He's a king.
Check
the Twitter. I'm gonna fucking upload the most wholesome fucking interview clip I've ever seen, where this woman is interviewing Brendan Fraser, and she's like, "Oh, just let you know, the internet adores you. We support you. We're there for you.
Yeah.
The internet loves you." And he's just like has this big fucking smile on his face, and he's like, "Thank you, ma'am." And he's like almost got a tear in his eye. It's so heartwarming, and I wish the best for Brendan Fraser. I love him.
Man, he used to be my favorite actor.
He's a king.
He's such a king. I hope he comes back. I hope he's better than ever.
I hope he's well.
Man, they should do. I'm still offended that they didn't do like a Mummy sequel with him, like a threequel. Well, they did a threequel, but it was shit.
Yeah,
they should have done a fourth one.
Was he in the second one?
Of course, yeah. Mummy Returns. He was in that.
Yeah,
and then he was in the third one.
What is the third one?
The third one is the Mummy Snowman edition. They're in the Himalayas.
Oh,
and there's a Yeti and stuff. But they've replaced Rachel Weisz with some random woman, and it just does not work at all. As soon as I saw that she wasn't in it, I was like, "This is gonna be shy."
Yeah,
and it is shy. And the kid is all the kid from Mummy 2.
Yeah,
he's all grown up, and he's he's like, peer to peer with Brendan Fraser. It's like, don't be doing that. Like, this isn't the fucking Before Trilogy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're here to see Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz kick ass. Like,
yeah. Well, it's their fourth Mummy movie as well.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. But like, that's a reboot. Like,
yeah.
But apparently that was shite.
Jesus, yeah.
They should have rebooted it with him, you know?
Mm.
Something
they
like
should
that.
have, yeah. Probably too
It's
late now, but
well, still.
Petition. And the new Scorsese film, have you read about that? Like what it's about?
It's like a Native American thing, isn't it?
It's like real murders that happened to these oil barons or something in Texas.
Really? By Native Americans?
I don't know if Native Americans are part of it or not. I don't know.
I just saw something about Osage County.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
but Brendan Fraser plays a lawyer in it.
Ah.
So, kind of like maybe a Marriage Story, we're bringing back Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. My dad always thought that Ray Liotta was dead for years.
He's the kind of person you'd think is dead.
He's in fuck all.
Yeah, but even Brendan Fraser, you think. Charlie Sheen, talking about earlier, I thought he was dead. You think he was dead, you know?
I think he'd be dead. He's still kicking about. Still a man on Mars. What the fuck is describing? What did he describe himself as?
What?
It's like Charlie Sheen's like, I'm like a man on Mars. What the fuck he's saying about? It's like, I'm an animal. You can't stop me.
Oh, yeah, Tiger Blood.
Oh, Tiger Blood. That's
Tiger
what it was.
Blood,
Fucking mental bastard.
He's fucking insane, man. He should literally be in prison. He's like the prototype for the Hollywood fucking rapist out there, you know?
Yeah. I'm amazed there's no stories about Charlie Sheen.
There are, man.
Oh,
There's
there
loads.
are. Oh, okay, grand.
Yeah.
Just haven't heard it.
Oh, yeah. Won't go into that now. But
Yeah, we've already given a content warning for Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that guy is he's a big fish. Like, he's below Epstein. Like, he's one of the henchmen, you know?
Yeah, sure. The fucking, the Sheen dynasty.
Corey Feldman and all.
Poor Corey Feldman.
But yeah, dark scenes. But yeah, Brendan Fraser.
He's back.
A wholesome king. He's back.
I
can't wait.
Hopefully this is the start of something big for Brendan Fraser once again. Woo. We're going to listener questions.
Do we have any?
We got one.
All right, let's go.
First one's coming in from Paddy. And Paddy's asking us, why is Sam Rockwell the best actor out there at the moment? Actually forgot about Sam Rockwell when we were going through our favourite actors a while back.
Sam Rockwell, he's a little king, man.
He's a king.
Jesse James, Moon.
He's fantastic, Jesse James.
You know?
Man, Moon. My family watched Moon the other day.
It's good.
And I was like,
Spooky.
I forgot that film existed. And Sam Rockwell is amazing in it.
He's great in everything.
He is.
He's great in everything, really. But I think people really appreciate him, you know? Like, he's not, like, sort of underrated or anything.
3 Billboards as well. He's great in that.
3 Billboards, yeah.
7 Psychopaths.
7 Psychopaths.
He's fantastic in 7 Psychopaths. We watched that recently enough. I love 7 Psychopaths.
Yeah, he's very versatile. He can do whatever he wants, you know? Like, he plays a pure, dope in Jesse James. But, like, he plays it off so well. Yeah. So pathetic. But then he does, like, the opposite in something like 7 Psychopaths. And, like, Moon and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, he's just a king.
3 Billboards, he's really scary. He's a very scary, racist cop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to agree, though. Sam Rockwell's great.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of Sam Rockwell.
He's an unproblematic king, as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard that much. I've never heard that Sam Rockwell's a dick, anyway.
Neither have I, yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably why. He's a good actor, very versatile, pick good roles, unproblematic. He's definitely one of the best actors out there at the moment.
He's not in a superhero film.
He's not. That's a major thing.
He hasn't sold out.
He hasn't sold out. He's not in a superhero movie. Yeah. Actually, yeah, he hasn't sold out. He's in just like good movies generally.
Yeah, it's just like independent stuff. Yeah. Fair play.
Fair play to you.
He's big.
He's a big
name.
Big
balls on him.
Does he have an Academy Award? I'm pretty sure he does.
Or maybe for 3 Billboards.
I think he got.
That won Best Picture, didn't it?
That did win Best Picture. Did he win Best Supporting Actor for that? Let me check that up now. I want to double check that. I think that he did, but I could be wrong. Maybe got something for something else. Sam Rockwell. Oh yeah, he did. One Oscar for. Oh, he got it for. No wait. Oh yeah, no, he did. Yeah, Best Supporting Actor, 3 Billboards. He won it for that. King. He deserved it. King. He deserved it. Well, we leave it at that.
We'll leave it there. So,
what's our recommended film?
Our recommended film for episode 52, our year anniversary.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're going to look at The Vanishing by George Sluizer. I don't know. Sluizer. Adapted from the novella The Golden Egg by Tim Crabbe. It's a horror film. Apparently, it's one of the it's, according to Stanley Kubrick, is the scariest film ever made. So
we'll see Kubrick.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see Stanley. You know, our opinions kind of been going down on that guy for a while now. So see what he's like. See if he holds up here. See if it holds up to
Be
the
exciting.
scrutiny. Yeah, it'll be exciting.
I mean, we talked about The Exorcist last week, so that's
Yeah.
also one of the scariest movies ever made.
And we're going back. It's come back to Halloween, lads. So
Yeah, exactly. Fucking. By the time this is out, the next one's out, it will nearly be Halloween. No wait, it will be Halloween.
Wait,
No,
what?
it won't be Halloween. It'll be. No wait, shit. I'm forgetting September's in between. Oh, fucking hell. Completely forget that September's a month. Who the fuck cares about September?
yeah,
Except for
September's-
school kids.
Yeah, no one ever thinks about September except for people who are in school. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Let's just skip September. Let's all just agree to skip September this year.
Oh, come on, boys. We're nearly there anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get 2021 over with so we can get our fucking
Yeah.
jabs and our passports and
Straight
shit.
into 2022. Go straight to the continent.
Straight to holidays.
Yeah, straight into Euro man. Yeah.
Can't wait.
But yeah.
Oh,
So
fucking
yeah,
hell.
we'll be doing that. The Vanishing next week for our 52nd episode.
Sweet.
I can't wait.
No, wait, our 53rd episode.
It's not the 51st, no?
Yeah. 2 weeks.
52nd.
50
Oh yeah, 53rd. Yeah, sorry.
We're doing things here.
Oh
bro.
my god, I completely fucked it up. Yeah, sorry. Clarification: it's our 53rd episode. It's every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
So yeah, there you go.
we'll be getting. I guess we can reveal it now. Our guest next week will be Isabel.
Yeah.
Yeah. My girlfriend Isabel. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not nepotism.
Yeah. Our 52nd, our year special, our anniversary special, and I can't wait.
Here we go,
I
boys.
personally can't wait. God knows what we're going to be getting up to. What
Jesus.
crazy antics.
Absolute carnage next episode.
Yeah, I'll see you then anyway.
Right, see you everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.